It was a podcast, is what I have for you today. David came on, and we had Aaron. So Aaron's a friend of David, and he's become a friend of mine. Cool dude, starting a business, and so we wanted to talk to him about what that journey's been like, and of course, we get into a bunch of other stuff. So, fun pod. Hopefully, you enjoy it. Here's David and Aaron.
Buenos dias.
Yo.
Aaron's he's been alerted. He's just using the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, he's in. He's in.
Some morning, flushing, and then he's in.
I had to do that a little while ago, so we good.
I thought. Okay. Well, hold on.
Oh, you're on. Okay.
Yeah. I just got it right now. What's up? What's up? Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
What's up, dude?
I didn't know we were doing video.
The video isn't recorded.
The video's not recorded?
No, it's just audio.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Because I look, I look rough this morning. Here, I'll put my video on, but
David and I just do it just to see each other.
Nice.
Yeah. The video does help a little bit just to get
a sense, get an idea.
Yeah, it's like when you're texting someone, you don't get the same amount of emotion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there you go.
You get the whole studio. Here, like it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes right here for the drawing.
Ooh, I was about to say, oh my God, is that where he does the drawings?
Yeah.
Dude. What was I gonna say?
You do drawings?
Glasses on and all that. Yeah. Here, let me.
Yeah. Show him, dude. It's pretty.
Oh well, speaking of, or to connect both of them, I drew my business logo, which I think this is the final design right there.
Yeah.
Let me get the drawings.
I always knew Aaron could doodle. In high school, he was always doodling, but then it wasn't until after where I was like, oh, he's actually putting time into it and creating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I didn't really take it seriously until probably 2020. When everyone had free time and stuff. So,
dude, that's crazy.
Thank you. So it's supposed to be
really good
from the perspective of Captain America right here.
Right.
Or I guess it would be this way.
Dude, do you have the Rage Against the Machine one?
Yeah. What the original?
I think one of the first ones.
Yeah. It's underneath the accountability. I have a lot going on here. That's what I'm saying. I didn't know if video was going to be on. I was like, oh, I got a lot to work with. Yeah. Here's the.
That's Zach De La Rocha. Yeah,
dude.
And it's actually going to be the inspiration for the next one. Which here I'm going to put this one down, but I have this one lined up specifically. But have little tape markers so actually putting them both together. I noticed this one. Okay, so this one, I don't know if what kind of talk are we trying to do here this morning?
we go everywhere, so don't even worry about it. We're good. Yeah.
Okay, because the drawings are I'll say politically motivated, or along those lines. Yeah. So obviously, Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. But the original Rage Against the Machine one, I noticed that in here, it kind of has the same structure, I guess, or I was able to see. Oh, I'm not even showing that well. I was able to see the same structure as the Palestinian flag. So
I
it's
see.
supposed to be it's going to be red right here. Obviously the smoke. There's going to be a white stripe, and then the green.
So this next one is the first one, but with color, or
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so where's the red? Okay, so the red would be right here.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so there's smoke, and then so that's a look into the little studio we got going on right here.
Nice.
Hey, y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it first on Arrows Up.
That's funny. That's funny.
That's funny.
But
dude, why were you up so early? I saw you were up early.
I don't know, dude. I do know. I didn't turn off my alarms from work. Like I'm still on vacation, but I didn't I didn't switch them off. So pretty much every morning, Monday through Friday, for 4 weeks, I've been waking up at least 5:30 and then going back to sleep, just to be like, all right, I won't I don't want to oversleep. I want to be able to wake up when I have to get back to work, instead of just being like the first day back, I'm already asleep.
Right.
Dude, you and your alarms. I remember you would have 8 a.m. alarms at school too, and I'm just like, why? Yeah, and you were like, it's a good time to wake up on a Saturday to get this done. I'm like, dude, you're 15. Who thinks about this at 15?
He already have.
Now I know. Now that
he
I'm
already has
exactly. I was
the old Mexican dad mentality of
you
gotta get up early and
get the work done. Yeah, and then work hard first, and then get to play hard. Sometimes I play hard first, and then forget to do the work.
Did you nap like a lot of the Mexican dads? Like they would go,
dude.
At 11 a.m. They're just knocking. You're like, dude, come on.
That's the only way I get through my days sometimes. So I live in Pomona, and I went to school with David in Whittier. And it's pretty long commute. It's about 20 something miles. So in the morning there'd be traffic, on the freeway, and the way back home there'd be pretty much traffic. Right. So that's when I'd get my naps in. I would stay up really late, and then we'd wake up early to go to school. Yeah. And then that's when I get my naps in.
And California, in terms of California or Southern California, 20 miles is not 20 minutes. 20 miles is 45 to an hour.
It's at least 45 minutes, exactly. Yeah.
Which is crazy because my sister lives in Oregon, and we went over there. You would drive whatever, Portland is 20 miles away, and it's legit 20 miles, and you're just dude, I'm driving forever. This is crazy. But to many people, it's just that's what it is. 20 miles is 20 miles. But in California, that's an hour. So
bring your snacks, get your water. Make
sure you're prepared.
Yeah,
maybe ours.
Exactly. Listen to a podcast
or put on an album. Listen to a whole album,
dude. A whole. That's okay. Speaking of drives home from work and school, that's where I would if I wanted to really, appreciate an album. Yeah, that's when it'd be. It's my alone time, or if someone else wants to be in the car and listen to it, I'm like, hey, I'm going to listen to this,
right?
But I'm listening. I'm listening to listen to it because it's the whole thing. It's it's a whole story put together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes
Dude,
sense.
Oh my gosh, that long drive to Pomona. I felt so bad for you, dude.
What do you mean from Whittier to Pomona?
No, because I had a 0 period freshman year, and then
oh man.
So for me, I thought that was a big deal, but I'm I could walk to school in 20 minutes. So but I remember one year you had a 0 period, and I was like, what time do you get up again? To go to school and come to 0 period?
I think.
And then we had football after, so it was just I was like, dang, dude, this guy
it's crazy.
18 hours a day would be on the out away from home or on the road. I was like, oh my gosh. So.
Dude, I always tell people that I live in Pomona, or I sleep in Pomona, but I grew up and I live in Whittier.
Yeah.
Dude, that makes I see it.
Yeah. It was my pretty much, my whole, or not my whole family, but a lot of my family lives out in Whittier.
Or Pico, right? Pico Rivera.
Exactly, yeah. Pico Rivera, Whittier, Boyle Heights. But and also my friends, right? You guys. Right. High school and then elementary school, middle school was in Pico, but yeah, so my whole life was around the area for a long time.
For sure.
Man. Were you were you the guy that people are like, hey, what's good to eat here? You're like, dude, I don't know, man. They're like, wait, don't you live here? You're like, yeah, but I didn't grow up here.
Okay, 2 things about that. One, this is kind of I don't know, it's kind of weird, kind of awkward, but not so much awkward, but you'll see why. So now that I work close to where I live, I work in Claremont now, which is about 5 miles away. I am starting to hang out with people and like kind of go on dates and stuff. And then it's they're like, "Hey, where do you want to go eat?" And I'm like, "I have no clue. I don't live around here, or like I live here, but like I've never
I don't really eat.
been here.
Yeah. Like,
I've never been here. So like, please show me the area." And I live like right on the corner. Oh, what? Yeah, but and then the second thing would be that I kind of know a lot of places around the Whittier area, and the first that comes to mind, especially it being the morning right now, would be Burrito Track. Man, that was like
Burrito Track.
Yeah, before high school, we'd walk over and I take that to. I remember taking that. What was it to an English class, and one of our classmates, Natalie. Was her last, I don't know, but she would just be like, "Aaron, that smells so good. Stop bringing that to class every morning."
Dude, that was fun. I like the security guards from school would go there. Like it was just, oh my gosh, yeah. Dang, takes me back, dude. Burrito Track and Golden Ox.
Golden Ox would fight,
dude. Okay. Golden Ox would fight back though. It would fight back. It would like
wait, sorry, say that again.
It would fight back, like some tummy trouble later, like this. Chili cheese fries did me wrong, dude. Do me dirty.
Man, we used to have those discount cards from football that we would sell, and they had the Golden Ox $5 deal. And every week I'd be there. I used to. I mean, at first I loved it, but eventually I got sick of it. But it was the value was so good, I had to get it. I didn't even continue.
Didn't that? I remember like you told me you were at USC, like the food in the cafeteria was good at first, but then you would like.
Oh, dude!
I remember you told me you ate it so much, you're like, dude, I hate it now. Like it's just because you have like a meal plan, right, or something. You have like
yeah, exactly. So you like, I think you pay a certain amount up front. And then you get, I mean, there's different plans, but I think that's what I did. I paid a certain amount and then I got like a limited amount of swipes per week or per month or something.
Per week, yeah.
And I think I used them now, yeah, I think the reason I got sick of it was because the first plan that I got was my first semester there and it was the unlimited plan. And that's the reason why I got sick of eating all the food, because I was literally there like before my class, after class, before and after every class, just,
bed, like
yeah, because I was a transfer, so like I didn't have that freshman class of friends that I so at USC it was like my sophomore year was my first year there, and I was like, okay, well, most of my time is going to be spent in class, at work, and eating. The eating was intentional though, because I was trying to walk around the football team at the time.
I see. That makes sense.
But man, so I was eating there all the time my first couple semesters, and then I started to learn how to cook for myself. And so that's pretty much like the thing that I took away the most from college is that I learned how to cook.
He's good. He made me chilaquiles a few months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he went like, dude. Yeah, they were good. I was like, I wasn't planning on eating breakfast. I was like fasting at the time, but then I was like, I'm chilling with the homie for the weekend, and I was like, sure, like, what are you gonna make? And he started like taking stuff out of the fridge. He's like, oh, I'll make chilaquiles, and I was like, really? Like you? Because I don't even do that. I've never tried, and I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, and so he chicken, like the queso fresco, sour cream, like cilantro on top, like garnish, like the fried egg. I was like, okay, like, and then we watched American Gangster with Denzel Washington.
There you go.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, man, good memory.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, the chilaquiles, man, that's something I remember calling my mom when I was in college. I'd be like, hey, like, I'm hungry. I have all the ingredients. How do I do this? And like, I have like 30, like a crunch time before class, and she'd just be on the phone with me, like, with all the instructions as I'm going through it. So that was cool too. Yep.
What was the best meal that USC had to offer before you got tired of it?
Oh, dude.
Was it like?
I don't know.
Is it like
the
buffet
cafeteria.
style, or like are there like set dishes? Like it's like, oh, here's
Chicken
like
parm.
pizza to like today's, or like a set menu. Is there like a set menu for the day? Like
Yes. So yes to
Okay.
both though, because they give you the menu, and then for the whole evening they just keep like replenishing that item. But at USC there were, at least when I was there were 3 cafeterias, and you could check every one, and they were all different, like different themes. So depending on what you wanted to eat, you
Yeah.
would go to certain ones. But that being said, they were spaced out around campus, and like the best one, everyone like, consensus best one, was the furthest one for most people. So
Of course,
you had to make
yeah.
a long trek. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Because I just went camping, and they had like buffet style food at this at the campsite, and so it was pretty good for the most part. Like for breakfast, they had like the first day for breakfast they had like hot cakes, scrambled eggs, sausages, and then they had like fruit salad type thing. Like you like
Nice.
yogurt, granola, and then the next morning it was biscuits and gravy with scrambled eggs and sausage patties. That was kind of lame though. I was like, why sausage patties over sausage links? I was like, you couldn't get me bacon one of those days. Like I was but they had like a selection, and then it was like buffet style where you just go through and like get what you want.
Bro, you're in the woods, bro. Just be happy.
I get for sure. But
It's like, where's my bacon?
The last day they had like Mexican food, and I was like, I'm gonna be harsh, like they had like quesadillas, rice beans, like kind of like Chipotle style, and I was like, this will suffice. This will do, for rice and beans. But I was like, so I was wondering. I'm trying to gauge like what do they
like?
What do they feed like the Trojans? You know what I mean? Like just
okay. Oh, that's
like or do they get different meals? The players get different meals. I'm assuming. I don't know,
dude. Okay. I mean, I don't really know too much about like the player meal experience, but while I was trying to walk on, it was very difficult just to even start that process, because the guy, the player personnel operations or something like that. What his office was in what's called the McKay Center, and to get in, all athletes, they as they're getting registered for school, they get their thumbs fingerprinted, and that's how they scan into the building. There's no badges or anything.
Okay.
So I had to like pretend like I was an athlete and sneak in behind an athlete, and they're like, oh, here, I'm opening I'm holding the door for you. I was like, oh, dude, thanks, no problem.
Otherwise, you would have been like that one dude, the Jet. Was that Jamal Adams? The Jet
Jamal Adams.
Yeah,
They
like, I guess they caught me, like outside the door, like, oh, they let me in. Dude. Oh,
I predate that though.
Dude.
So yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Good times.
Yeah, no, it was cool though. My question earlier from like the eggs though at the camping spot.
Yeah.
Was it just one style, or was it like
It was just one style. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, y'all couldn't change it up. Like, I don't know. Like, but I mean, no, like, I still ate. I mean, I
think you're expecting too much from like
no, you're right. You're right. But I'm saying if they can go from hotcakes to biscuits and gravy, I'm like, why not scrambled eggs to like, fried eggs, or like, sunny side up, or
Where was the campsite? Like, where was this at?
It was up in the mountains, but they had like a whole staff. Like they had like you said, like they had people replenishing the stations. So they had a kitchen area.
But it wasn't like a resort. It's not like you're like resort.
Yeah. But they got cabins. They have like a general store. Like they had a whole like little village.
Okay.
Cabins,
The most important question to differentiate between like camping or glamping, I guess, was how comfortable were you using the restroom?
It was super comfortable. Come on.
No, using the restroom.
No, it was. Because it was snowing. It was snowing. It was in the snow. So like, restrooms are okay. The restroom in the cabin was not super spacious.
Okay. Oh, it was a cabin. Sorry. I like this whole time I'm thinking tents and stuff.
No, dude. They got.
It's like, you gotta temper your expectations a little bit.
No, for sure. But they had like an ice rink. So this place has an ice rink. They had like a sled tube run,
Yeah.
snowboarding rent. Like they had, the whole thing. It's a whole production. My favorite restroom was at the ice rink because of the space. And for a big guy, that's everything. I'm like, I got to be comfortable. I got to have like a little hook to hang, like, because also you got to layer up. You got to I had to hang like my coats. You know what I mean? All that stuff matters. That matters. So
2 pairs of socks.
Yeah. 2 pairs of socks. I had like waterproof. But I had a good time. If you listen to the last spot, I enjoyed it. It was a great time. Yeah. So, definitely different from like camping I'd done in the past, like through church with like Royal Rangers, it's like Boy Scouts kind of. So it's like,
and that's tense. That's like you're sleeping in tents.
Like you might sleep on a rock. Ground. You know what I mean? There's a rock. So you gotta,
sleep in a bucket.
Yeah, exactly. But this one was like cabins, heated because it's cold. So, but
you just wish they would invest a little more in the kitchen, right?
Just a little bit, because they had
some money there.
They had like the soda fountain machine, and then they had a Pepsi machine that could give you Pepsi with different shots of flavor. So you can get Pepsi with cherry, Pepsi with lime. So I'm like, y'all couldn't change up eggs. I don't know. That was all I would have said. Like, I'll put that on like the communication card, comment card.
Just hire me, man. I'll feel like you listen to fried egg, dude. Yeah. Everybody, but it's only fried egg.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh,
that's funny. So we wanted to have you on because we like to talk about just all this sorts of stuff, and we did a music thing. We've done like several movie recaps,
movie reviews. Yeah.
And we have friends that are doing interesting things and things that are different and
that they're passionate about too.
Yeah, which is what we're doing here. This is passion projects. And we wanted to just kind of get into what it is that led you to start, your own business, because it's obviously much easier to apply somewhere and be like, I'm just going to cash this company's check and not worry about all the administrative stuff, because that's, I think, the biggest pain or the biggest stress. It's not so much the work; it's everything that is not about the work. And I've seen that in starting a church. Well, the hardest part is all the like non-church stuff, because that part is easy. Has that been difficult? Like all the non-work stuff?
It's for 2 years. That's I'll say February of 2022 was when the idea came to be. And although I've done a few jobs so far, I'd say like 4 or 5, it's all been just set up still for 2 years. Even right now, I'm still going through the process of like, it's the final steps. I'm getting my website done, but it's been a headache to start. And then it just, oh man, I don't know, like all this, it's not frustration. It's just like, it's a lot of like weeds to go through mentally to describe,
it's kind of like tedious. Like, it's like, it has to get done either way. And you're like,
exactly.
you just want to get like to the work part, but it's like,
exactly. Especially
all this paperwork and all this, the hoopla and all that.
Yeah. And the fact that I've been telling people, oh, hey, I'm starting a business for 2 years now. And they're like, okay, what's going on? It's like, oh man, like I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself to get this going. But at least, there's like, it's understandable that there's a process to this. And I can give people updates along the way, but man, it's just like, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know. Like, had I known that it would have taken this long in the beginning, I don't think I would have gone through it.
Really?
Probably. Like, I would have probably changed. I would have probably, well, yes, to starting my own business, but like not the specific one. Yeah. That I chose to do, just because of how many hoops there are to jump through. And like, it's federally regulated. It's transportation. So, so it's, FMCSA, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. for California, there's the California Highway Patrol that I had to register with. There's, for the business itself, there's like the California Secretary of State, I think, that you register the business with.
Right.
And man, let me tell you guys right now that if you are in my situation where you're kind of you have an idea for the business, but you're not going to be able, excuse me, you're not going to be able to start right away, I would hold off on registering the business because, well, unless you're able to pay for it, but there's an annual like tax that you have to pay.
Right.
At least from speaking with somebody else who started a business, they've confirmed this, but I haven't, spoken with any of, man, I can't, I haven't spoken to many other people about this. But yeah, there's like an $800 tax I have to pay like every March. And so I registered, I don't know if it's every March, but that's when I registered my business.
And that is no matter what. That's whether you made $1 million or you made zero. That's your business exists. Give us $800. Yeah,
exactly. Yep.
Dang.
And so right when I started the business, I actually had a very decent job to start saving for that business. And
Nice.
So, I was just like, ouch, that kind of hurt. But, I just took it in stride. But, I mean, I'll try to explain, more thoroughly in a bit, but to make a long story short, along the way, I changed my jobs, at least my full-time jobs that I'm working to support starting this business. So at one point I was working IT, and now I'm working groundskeeping, and the pay difference is pretty significant. But from the IT job, I was able to save enough to make sure that I was able to like finance all this equipment that I had to get for the business, and then also sustain myself. Or like you can see from the video for the people who are listening, but they can see on the video that I'm here at home. I got like a little with a loft bed set up, so I got my desk. I'm like stacking things to save space.
Right.
But
you ball on a budget. That's fine.
Exactly, ball on a budget, man. Just work your job to work your 9 to 5 to set up your dream job. Is
your dreams, man.
Yeah. So yeah.
What is the job, the business specifically?
So the business itself,
what are you going to do?
Yeah, is renting roll-off dumpsters. I know it sounds very like obscure, abstract, whatever, very random, but there were 2 reasons for that, I guess. The first was just that it's a pretty, oh man, now this is going to go on record that I don't really know how to say this word, but it's niche or niche.
It's niche.
Okay,
niche,
we can have a whole episode about that. No,
I got you, bro.
Words you can't say, yeah.
Yeah, so there's like a very niche market. You say niche, right?
Niche, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there's very niche market. At least like you have your giants like Burtech, Waste Management, one or Republic or something like that. I'm not sure,
right.
But and they rent out the same dumpsters, but it's usually like the biggest ones, which are 40-yard dumpsters, and like the minimum is for a week, and it's a set price. And so for me to work around that, I was like, okay, let me get like not really. This is just the best option for me to start out with, but it's also very favorable for me because I'm able to tailor to my customers' needs. So I have a smaller dumpster than what the big guys offer. And my whole business would be tailored around to, okay, you only need it for 1 day or 2 days. Let me get you the specific price, which is a lot less than the set price that you would be getting for a full week, where now you got this big old dumpster in your driveway or like on your lawn and you're responsible for like,
Yeah.
So it kind of worked out like that. But going back to why I started the business, or like why specifically roll-off dumpsters, was because of an organization that I had been volunteering with. It's called Water Drop LA. They every Sunday they're based out in Los Angeles, founded by, I think it was 5 USC women or USC students who are women.
Yeah.
but their whole goal was to combat water insecurity in Los Angeles and the surrounding communities. So, I mean, please read up on their website to get a better summary of their story. But basically, every Sunday now they've been able to organize a whole community of volunteers where they will fill up 2 U-Haul trucks with, big gallon cases of water, and then meet up at a location by USC. And then all these volunteers will fill their cars and then distribute that water to the Skid Row community. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
throughout the city. Excuse me. But so it started out, it's primarily based, the distribution in the Skid Row area, but they do hit, different areas throughout the city, throughout the county even.
Mm-hmm.
And they've even driven out as far as like Coachella Valley to like the farm workers out there.
Okay.
And helped them out with some water and like other services and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So relating to my business, so like I said, they fill up 2 U-Haul trucks pretty much on average every Sunday. And they're a nonprofit, so everything that they get, or like, they're volunteer-based nonprofit.
Yeah.
So all the money that they received has been donations, for the most part, or grants now. But when they were first starting out, it was like 100% donations. And so after a few months of, again, so let me kind of set the scene. This was summer of 2020 when, it was very turbulent, I'll say politically turbulent. And there was a very like spirited social media campaign to support, nonprofit organizations, mutual aid groups. Yeah. And so their fundraising kind of went through the roof immediately as soon as like some celebrities had shared their posts.
Okay.
Water Drops post, that is, right? Celebrities shared their posts. So they just got a huge audience from that, which is why you should use your platform for positive things like that, because, the reach it has.
Yeah.
But so that funding, I wasn't, at the time, I was very heavily involved. And so they were, they were open about like, hey, like, this is how far we project to be able to do these the weekly drops, the weekly water drops.
Right. And
so I was kind of getting skeptical. I was like, dang, like, what happens if people stop donating, or like if basically if the momentum runs out and they're not able to fund water drops anymore, and ultimately people on the streets are going to have to deal with the very ineffective and poorly managed, like, city-run water installations throughout, like, the Skid Row community and throughout, just downtown as a whole.
Yeah.
So, kind of going back again, to work, that is. So my IT job, I wasn't really liking it at the time. And plus it was in Whittier. So it was a very far commute, right? So we kind of set all that up. So it was making me, like, it was actually 4 years now. I had worked at a high school and then got promoted to the district offices. And it was basically just a culmination of, dang, like, I have some coworkers who I don't agree with, and they don't agree with me. And I have to kind of fight through traffic every morning, at least for an hour. And my car died. And so I was driving a truck that gets like 6 miles to the gallon on the freeway. And gas prices are $5.
It's instrumental to the business. So it's like, it's one of those like massive, like, work trucks. Like, you got to get a different license.
3,500. Right. Yeah. So it's a gas guzzling, like, this thing it's a beast, but it's also like, we're in Southern California.
You were driving that to your IT job.
Yeah, it's like
people were like, probably like, man, this guy's like in construction. This guy, and you're like, no, I do IT.
Get out some slacks and a button-down shirt. Like, oh, okay, this guy works IT. Oh, okay, big old child hopping out.
Dude, yeah, climb up into it. Yeah,
it was lifted when I bought it, but also it fits. Like, it's not like I'm disproportionate to the truck. It's just a big truck, and I'm like, dang, dude, this is like imposing. Like, man, like, I would have to park pretty much everywhere now. I just park the furthest away from everybody I can, just because like I'm
Right.
taking up the full spot,
Yeah.
and I don't want you dinging my car, and I don't want to ding your car.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, but so yeah, so I was going to work in that big old truck, getting like 6 miles to the gallon, driving 60 miles round trip every day. I was like, man, this is killing
This ain't
me.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the job itself was very tedious. Um, it was just a whole bunch of things.
Right.
My feelings about the job were like I need to like do my own thing because I'm not having it here, and like I don't really like dealing with all this stress just to take orders from somebody when I'm in a bad mood. I'd rather like
Mhm.
deal with my own problems
Yeah.
myself, and
Right.
like yeah, I don't know how to explain that, but so I was already thinking about like how do I get out of this situation? How do I make it better? And then at the time I was volunteering with Water Drop very heavily, and I was like, they need help. How could I help them? Or not specifically like I'm the savior, like 'cause I
Yeah.
don't, they are very well managed without
Right.
me, and
Right.
like without any consideration of like they're very well managed on their
Yeah.
own.
Yeah. I get you. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but still, wanted to make sure that they were like thoroughly secure for as long as they need to operate. I just wanted to make sure that.
You can contribute in like with something a little more, I
Thank
guess.
you. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And so through that, I would be on YouTube at home, and then I just randomly came across some video where some guy was like, I rent out dumpsters in my free time. Like I do like digital marketing or something in my 9 to 5, which he eventually quit. And now he does the dumpsters full time because it was so successful for him. He's out in like somewhere in Iowa. Um, so we're not really going to compete with each other, hopefully, at least not yet. But yeah, so I saw those videos and I was like, this is something I could do. This is a niche market, right? And
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, like what does this entail? And he actually had a video about that also. He's like, you'll need a truck. I recommend this type of truck. I went with the other type of truck because I like doing things the difficult way. Um, Basically, he recommended a truck that was basically like a truck and trailer combined, where it would have like the hook lift on it, and you would just back up to the dumpster. Whereas I was like, well, specifically, I needed the trailer because it would help out with water drop. Because my
I
intention
see.
was to have a flatbed to replace the two U-Hauls that they would get every weekend, and so
Yeah.
I would just drive out and on my own cost too. Like that was my contribution, or like that would be
Your
my
donation. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. And so I mean, it's still kind of in the works, and we've discussed it. Like I have all the equipment now, um, but yeah. So that's kind of the hope, or like that's
Mm.
the mix of like the business and the volunteering, or
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, that's sick.
Thank you, thank you.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Um, what has been like mentally the toughest part? Because I think what people don't realize is when someone says they're going to start something, you may not see progress for a while. Like it's you can say, "Oh, I'm starting today," but you're probably not going to notice anything for quite some time. And I think people are like, "Man, I thought you were started." I like, dude, like it's been started. Yes, but you need that runway. What has been the toughest part mentally in that whole process? Because um, I've gone through that, like starting stuff, and that's I think the toughest part mentally of like, man, like I'm doing it and I'm in it every day, and I have my head down and I am doing the work, and yeah, people around me aren't able to see the work, and they're still like, dude, I thought you were doing this. You're like, I
Yeah.
am doing this, and what's 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 the toughest part mentally for you?
Man, okay, so um the that's I mean, not that it has me stumped, but the
Yeah.
answer that comes to mind immediately is like seeing the end of the tunnel, or like, being at the end of the tunnel. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to be there already.
Right.
And for me, I've been there for at this point, almost 2 years. In a month, it'll be that point, 2 years. But there were, I'll try to touch on like different points of the timeline of this.
Mm-hmm.
So at the very beginning, it was just like a lot of enthusiasm to get out of where I was, but it was also kind of difficult because like I would be drained, getting home from work to driving in the traffic, and then like, oh man, I have to like kind of put my mind to work again, like start my day all over.
Yeah.
Because now I have to like focus on organizing like tasks on how to start this business, I guess, or like, just kind of what's the first step, like figuring that out, like, okay. And then that's not actually the first step. Let me work back from that. And so in the very beginning, it was like kind of going through and like just finding the starting point, really. And for me personally, it was a bad starting point. I bought the truck first. And so basically I gave myself an extra payment. So I already had a car at the time. And I bought the truck first. Yeah. And then I had, I was like, okay, now I have 2 more payments. I had the truck payment and the insurance payment. But I was like, okay, like this is for me to mentally get used to driving this truck. Like, cause it's a lot different. And then right, like David was saying earlier, it's just a massive truck. So yeah, I just wanted to get, that was my logic. That was my reasoning. It's like, I just want to get acclimated to driving a different type of vehicle. Like I've had previous experiences where like, I'm not going to say with whose vehicle, but like I've clipped the back end on like some curbs, on tight corners. And I was just all right, I'm not going to do that with my truck. That's not going to be me. It's not going to be my truck. But yeah, so that was a bad starting point. And then in the middle, or like, kind of along the way, I don't know, it was like just kind of dealing with life at the same time. You're just like, you're like, I don't know if you've ever started a project where you're just like, I'll work on it eventually. I want to enjoy this other thing, or like, I want to go hang out with my friends. And so like, then you'd waste time, right? I'd lose a weekend or an opportunity to advance. And so then it would just like prolong it. And I was like, and then I eventually sit down and be like, wow, I could have like been so much further ahead. Exactly. Yeah. Could have been so much further ahead had I just focused. But you go through different things, and at this time, I was in a relationship that was it was getting towards the end. And so that was, it affects you going through a relationship. And so a lot of things for me just kind of shut down at the time. And so there was a lull because of that.
Right.
And so, you just have to like, okay, how do I start up again? And so, for me, that actually coincided with when I left my job. Like it was like both things kind of happened within like 2 weeks of each other. And so like my focus actually had kind of shifted. It was still like, centered on the business, but it was attacking it from a different angle. So now, I had saved everything that I needed, right, from that business, and I was comfortable. I left that job. I was like, all right, finally, I'm done. And now I was at a different job where I was a lot closer, and I was like restoring my inner peace and groundskeeping. Yeah. And so, right, I took the pay cut, but everything else, that was the only bad thing. Everything else has improved in my life. I have so much more free time. I have at least on average 2 more hours in my day. And I get home a lot earlier, and it's not like sunset where I'm like, all right, I'm tired. I just want to kind of kick back and go to sleep.
Right. The commute shorter, right?
It's like my commute
10, is 15 minutes.
Dude, it's 15 minutes exactly. Pretty much every day. It's like, it's just streets, there's no traffic, and there are multiple ways to get to the same area.
Yeah.
So if one area is backed up, I can just go all the way around. But it's not, it's not like a major detour. Whereas if the freeway was backed up, I'd have to take all these side streets, and so was everybody else because it's the freeway. And so now I'm at this new job where I'm not stressed when I'm there. or not stressed, as I arrive because I'm not fighting traffic.
Right.
I am doing something that I actually like, which is like it's very serene, very peaceful. It's I'm cutting flowers, I'm mowing the lawn, dude. I'm just like
Yeah.
I'm like putting mulch. I'm making the
Right.
area look nice, feel
Yeah.
good.
It's hard to
All
be pissed off if you're pruning roses. Yeah.
exactly, exactly, exactly. I will say that actually it's not even a bad thing, but I will say that like over the summer. It gets kind of tough because like you're working outdoors and it gets really
Yeah.
warm, really hot sometimes.
Mhm.
But I actually kind of like it. And with David, I'm very, he and I are very, or I'm not sure, Jeremy, if you've also played, but like David and I played football together, so we were very used to like 2-a-days in the summer,
Right.
Yeah.
out there 100,
Yeah.
90-degree, 100-degree weather.
Yeah.
And like in my interviews, they're looking at me for the groundskeeping job. They're like, okay, you're coming from IT, you graduated from USC. This guy seems soft.
They thought you were proud. They thought you were one of those schmucks.
I
Dude.
come,
They were
yeah.
like,
I come in with the tie slacks,
Right.
like I look nice, and they're like, hey, we work outdoors,
They're like, do you know what you
in the
applied
weather.
for? Yes.
Exactly. Wait, so I actually you said that. But yeah, they're like, are you cool with like being in the sun,
sweating?
and, and sweating on the job? And I was like, dude, like if only like how do I explain to you like I'm beyond used to this. Like, don't even worry
Right.
about me. Like, I'm gonna be in my element out here. And
Yeah.
also, like, my grandfather, my abuelo,
Yeah.
he's I said that very like very pocho of me, but
Hey,
yeah,
we don't do that here.
Excuse
We
me.
don't
Yeah,
do that
I'm sorry. You can edit that one out.
No, but your Gramps, like he does like landscaping too, right?
Exactly. Like my whole life, or like obviously he's done it longer than my whole life, but all I've known is that he's been a groundskeeper. And so when growing up as a kid, some summers my brother and I we would go work with him, and same thing, man. It was hot, and like we're pushing the and at the time we're kids, we're pushing the big old lawnmower, and so I'm like, yeah, I'm used to this. And I'm trying to tell the people who are interviewing me, like, hey, I do this. Like, don't even worry about me. So I'm at this new job, right? And sorry, I'm like all over the place.
No,
with
you're
stories.
good. You're good. You're good.
Dude, you're chilling.
Cool. And so so it's very serene, and I've saved all my money, and so now my new focus at this job is right, because I'm still focused on the job. I'm still keeping that centered in my focus, but I'm attacking from a different angle. So this new angle is to improve my Spanish. And so and I was like, this is perfect, right? Like
Right.
my main intention was actually to get a job closer to home so that I have more time at home to learn Spanish on my own, and like with like obviously through conversation, but just with like movies and music, and I can just immerse myself with that. But even better, my entire team at the new job, they are all
Spanish
native Spanish speakers.
Yeah.
And
Or
born
a
in
bunch of
Mexico.
tios. They're all Mexican dudes.
Yeah,
They're just
all
like,
they're all my tios born in Mexico. Yeah, I like to call them my tios. And so like from that point, May of last year, May of 23, my Spanish has improved very, very drastically, I'll say.
Nice.
And so being in the Southern California area, we have a large Spanish speaking population, and that's why I wanted to improve. I mean, that's not the only reason, right? But that is for the business. That's why I wanted to improve my Spanish.
Especially the business you're in. You're going to be dealing with a lot of Spanish speaker. Yeah. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's funny because
like
when
homeowners and right.
Yeah, exactly. When you work with people that speak like Spanish, because I grew up speaking Spanish in my house, but it's so different when you start like to work with people that just speak Spanish, because you realize, dude, my Spanish sucks. I remember I worked at this warehouse, and it was like a lighting company, and everybody there spoke Spanish, and everybody there was just like your tío, like just speaking Spanish. And I was like, dude, I speak Spanish. I'm bilingual. And you show up and and you're like, dude, like my Spanish is nowhere near.
Dang, how do you say that one verb again? But like past tense.
And you would say it,
and they verb.
Yeah, and they call you like gringo, like, oh, dude, you're a gringo. And you're like, dude, I was born in Mexico. You're like, nah, dude, you're a gringo.
Dude. Okay, that's the thing too, because Germ was born in Sinaloa, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
Sinaloa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Germ's front, like he is Mexican, so it's
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You know? But I had to explain
I just
to
look white. I just
No.
this right here just
Canelo vibe. He's just a little pink. He's a little pink. That's all. But I
the
had to
amount of
explain to
times I
Aaron.
got in the like, wait, you speak Spanish?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Claro
like,
que
dude,
sí.
I thought
Yeah.
you were Armenian, or I thought you were Russian. I was
Okay, that
like,
makes sense though. Here in SoCal, you go
yeah.
certain communities, right?
I used to work for a like jewelry company, and I used to go, deliver stuff, and people would like, oh, well, you're are you Russian? And I'm like, nah, I'm Mexican. They're like, what? You're Mexican? It was just, yeah. So I've gotten that like my whole life.
Yeah, no, I understand, especially like not trying to avoid stereotypes, but in that business, right? That I don't know. That's all. I don't know.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's
I
not,
was like, I don't know how to like. I'm not
not
trying
even
to be offensive. It just is
it's
what
not
it is.
even a
Especially,
stereotype. Yeah.
Dude.
yeah.
But like for Germ, I had to explain to Aaron that like even though we speak Spanish, I'm gonna say somewhat fluently, there are still things that we struggle with. And so when I told Aaron that, Aaron was like, since Aaron's at a different level, he's like, dang, I thought your Spanish was like on point, like perfect. I was like, nah, dude. I was like, I would say maybe I had a good like 75-80%. Like if I were to go to Spain, like I would probably like I'd get by for sure, but they'd probably look at me like, oh, okay, you're one of those. Oh, okay, like you're one of those like Americans that's like of Mexican descent that speaks a little Spanish. That's probably what they would say.
Spot on, right?
Yeah, and I'd be like, dude, shut up.
Yeah, you don't have to point it out.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it is what it is. You don't have to point it out.
Yeah. There's levels to it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, but yeah, when I was, I would send you like sentences. I was like, and I'd be like, hey, correct these. And the whole sentence would be marked up. Like, bro, what is this?
Oh, I know. Yeah, he would send me like sheets. Like he would do like his own little worksheets.
Right.
And he'd be like, hey, is this right? Did I translate this correctly? And I was like, nope, I don't know what that is, dude. And I would just like write it up.
I felt like and I did pretty well in school, right? And I was like, damn.
Yeah, that's not like school Spanish where they're like, it's super proper. And I'm like, I would not have said it like that if I were like, talking, but it is what it is,
Yeah.
You're saying bolígrafo instead of pen, and people pluma.
Bolígrafo.
People are like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Oh, okay. Okay. Very, very early on, like, I went to a family member's house, and we're sitting at the table talking, and I was telling them, "Hey, I'm learning Spanish now," and they asked me a question, and I wanted to respond like I don't know, and at the time I was like, oh, like I know this, and I was like, like in first person, you conjugate the verb to an o ending, and I was like, oh, no sabo, and I actually said no sabo.
It lives.
And my grandpa just looked at me like, what? It's no se, and I was like, oh my, like even before learning Spanish, I knew that, but just somewhere in the mix, like along the way, starting to learn, it went to the back of my mind. I was like, all these new things came to the front, and I was like, no sabo is the correct way to say this. And I was so wrong. And then at the same conversation, actually, no, this is actually me recalling an earlier conversation where I was asking somebody if they had fed the dogs, and I was like, ya comiste los perros? and he like, what?
Like, dang, like, it's in Tijuana, bro. Like, like.
Yes. And I was like, oh, that's not how you say it. Oh, okay, I guess I'm not where I thought I was. And so yeah, so right, speaking to different levels. So early on, I thought I was like, oh, I got the hang of this, and I was like, oh man, I'm actually not where I was. And this was before the job that I'm at now. But now for my job, it's actually been a lot of trial by fire, but they've been very helpful in just like, hey, no, like, and I've asked like, hey, if I say something wrong, please correct me. And so boom, boom, every opportunity, especially one of my coworkers is very good at it. Yeah. Very good at correcting me when I'm wrong, that is. So from there, like I noticed that there were days where I would have the majority of my conversations just like not in complete Spanish, but
Right, of course.
like well, I would say yeah, the majority of my conversations were in Spanish, and like I would throw in some English there because I don't know how to get through a full conversation like that yet. Sometimes,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it's greatly improved from that, and just now like I'm able to. It's cool because I'll be out in public or just out, with whomever, and they'll, somebody will be speaking Spanish, and I'm like, I understand that. Like I am no longer looking at them like a deer in the headlights, confused. Like,
Like I know what you
and like,
said. Yeah.
dude, it's a very, I'll say, rewarding feeling.
Yeah.
Like being able to go out in public into the wild, right? Into the real world and be able to speak Spanish, and it makes sense. And then they'll, have people respond to you, and you understand. You're like, I'm actually doing this thing, Like, yeah. So I bought a tire in full Spanish the other
Nice.
weekend. Yep.
Heck yeah, dude.
What has been, that's like the most satisfying thing so far in this whole process?
Ooh. Man, like, there are, I want to say a couple,
Okay.
but one of them hasn't like, this is from laughing. One of them hasn't happened. Um, it wasn't one of them has not happened yet, and that like I already know like that'll be like a complete moment of satisfaction. Like
Yeah.
and that's when like I am able to, at least for 1 week, like 1 weekend to start off, replace water drops need for U-Hauls. And it's like me looking in my rearview mirror with like the case of water loaded on the trailer. It's like that's it. Like this is everything you have worked for. The moments like,
Mhm.
dude, oh man, the moments that like really sucked where you're like, what is this? What am I doing? Like there were times, and this is actually related to like the other satisfying moment where like I was in a really time crunch. Like I left my job, or like I not not I quit, but like, I went home for the day for my job,
Yeah.
and I had to like hook up my trailer to my truck really quickly to then drive out like 40 miles in traffic to pick up one of the dumpsters. And so I'm like out there cranking like the jacks on this trailer to lift it up so that I can drive away with it. And I'm like, dude, like this, like I haven't eaten in like 6 or 7 hours. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I just got off work. It's like 100 degrees right now. It's like 3 p.m. and on like a July or August summer day, and I'm like just drenched in sweat, and like, and I'm a little like frustrated, and
Mhm.
and I just kind of like, dang, like, what am I doing? Like, why did I get myself into this? And then I'm like, and I remind myself like there is going to be a light at the tunnel, and then like for me, I have a very vivid like, right, that picture I described is like, okay, like once I get there, it'll all be worth it.
Yeah.
So like, all right, let me just like keep cranking. And I'm physically cranking like, oh, like I'm showing them on the video, but like I am like in circles this very heavy metal piece that I have to operate every time I want to leave with my trailer. Um, or at least like every time I hook up my trailer to my truck and want to drive away with it. So if I want to like park it and drive away with it and not detach it, it's very easy. Anyways. So I actually didn't make it to the place on time, but I texted the people, and the guy was very cool about it. And he's like, yeah, I'll wait like, extra 15 minutes. It was a dealership out in Paris, California, Perris, not Paris. Um, and that was the dealership where I bought all my equipment, the trailer for my business, and 3 dumpsters and a flatbed. And so I was, the first time I went out there, and picked up like the trailer, I was like, it was exciting. I wouldn't even say it was satisfaction. It was just like, it was a momentum boost. Like, all right, like
Ooh.
everything is real now. Like everything I've worked to this point, it was about a year and some months,
Yeah.
from February, right? And I was like, okay, cool. Like this isn't just like, an out of reach dream. everything is tangible now, and like now I was excited to keep going. And so when I think the story I was describing when I was finally trying to load up the last dumpster, and the reason there was added stress on that, like that cranking situation, was because I still hadn't figured out like how we were gonna fit that dumpster in our backyard. These things are like, I forget the dimensions.
Massive.
Yeah, these things are like 14, 15 feet long, and I had three of them, all in a row in our backyard. And I was just like, dude, we haven't even moved the things around in our backyard to make storage, like space for them. But in the dealership, he had held on to the dumpster for like basically 2 months, because it was like a whole process of like I had to drive out, and I can only pick up one at a time because then they'd be closed by the time I drove out again. And so, and also like, right, I had to rearrange stuff. So this third dumpster, he had already like given me a couple breaks of like, hey, like I actually can't pick it up this weekend. Can I extend it? He's like, yeah, it's fine. And he's like, no, not anymore. We're charging you this time like $200. And I'm like saving every penny at this point.
Yeah.
So everything was stressful. Everything was stressful about that situation. But again, there was that light at the tunnel of like, what's going to be worth it. And hopefully you have that clarity to get you through it. And so, yeah, I'll say like the first like really, really satisfying moment was getting that third dumpster at home and saying like, okay, I have everything that I need to start. Like I can operate my business now. I can rent these dumpsters out. I am legally able to, like I've registered with every department, every office, whichever one. I have my license. That was a process, man. I failed the first time. Whew. It was also very costly. This whole situation, right, is super costly. Like I was saving money for pretty much a full year. And so now I'm at the point where after like just all kinds of different emotions, I'm at like the advertising or the website point where I have worked with a couple freelancers to begin with. I will not recommend either of them because just of how much of a headache it was to get through the process. And then like, I did like admit to both of them, like, hey, like this is the final step. So I'm sorry, like for the, like, how do I say this? The first person I'd gone through, we didn't agree with, right? He promised some things on like, he advertised some things. And I was like, hey, like, why isn't my website like at this point yet? And it had been a few weeks. And
it's the dude on like Fiverr, right?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I was a freelancer on Fiverr who had very good reviews. That's why I went with him. And he promised some things I want on my website, or like, that he gives to people's website. And I was like, hey, where's like the checkout feature? Like, hey, like what's going on? Like when I click this, nothing happens. Or like, and then when I would ask for something to be fixed, it would be like a bunch of typos and like images would be all over the place, like randomly. And just like, it was like one step forward and 5 steps back, not even 2. Right. I was like, this is impossible. Like, what is going on? And so
this guy sucks. Let's go ahead and say
it was trash. It was trash work, man. And I was like, these reviews must be fake, dude. Like, no way. And so
do better, Fiverr. Do better.
And so I was like, I'm going to write an honest review of my experience with this dude. And so I did. And I was like, I was just basically was like, he didn't fulfill his promises. Every time I asked for a revision, he would do it kind of. Like half the time he would do a revision, and then every time he would do a revision, there would be more mistakes. And so like he didn't like the review, so he wiped my entire website. And I was like, dude, and dude, it's like I'm so close. I just want my website. I'm so close to starting my business. And so I'm reaching out to Fiverr, and I'm like, hey, like, can I have my money back from this dude? And they're like, no, the way their website works is like, there's a period in which you pay right away. Like the person who wants the service, you pay for the service right away, but you're paying Fiverr to hold it. And then the service gets taken care of. And then there's like a certain like window to review it, and you can decline it if you don't like it or accept it. But some people will offer unlimited revisions. And so that's what this guy offered. And I was like, okay, cool. Like he told me just accept it, and then I'll do the revisions afterwards. And so
Oh
that's where I was like,
man.
oh, okay, like for sure. Like, cause I thought I already paid him at this point. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, of course I accept. Like he's already like, do I accept this work? Yes, I accept this work. He's working on it. Like, am I not, I don't
Yeah.
know. It was very like, this was my
That's
first
where
experience with Fiverr.
that's where he
So I'm,
got
I'm
you.
doubling down. Do better, Fiverr. This sounds
Yeah,
terrible.
dude,
Bro.
I would not recommend Fiverr. That's what I'll say. But
So that's where
maybe
he got you, huh? Like say accept it and then I'll do it later. Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, and then
just say yes to this, and then we'll take care of it later. And like,
yeah, and so I learned through the second freelancer that Fiverr actually holds some money that they don't get paid. And I learned because the second freelancer was working around the holidays, around Christmas time, and he's like, "Hey, like, can you accept this?" And I will work on it. And like, I actually believe this guy because I was a lot more sincere with this guy. I was like, "Hey, I was frustrated with my last guy for these reasons, but I hope you understand. I'm not going to be that same way, but like." That I was like, I want this, like this is probably, we started this probably in early December. And I was like, hey, if you could get this done by the start of the new year, that'd be awesome. And he's like,
Mhm.
okay, for sure. Like I'll work as much as I could. It was very, I wouldn't say very pricey, but it was pretty pricey, right?
Yeah.
They're in the hundreds, I was like, dang, I want some quality work, but I don't know what kind of, I don't know. I didn't know what I was getting into with like website costs. That's a whole different, that's I'll touch on that a little bit later. But, uh, for the second guy, he was the one who informed me that like around the holidays, like, hey, can you pay or can you hit accept because then Fiverr will be able to pay me and I'll have like some more money for the holidays. Like, oh, dude, for sure. Like, don't like that's all you had to say. Don't even like make me the reason that that you have a bad season or anything like that.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, immediately accept. And I didn't even like, it was just like awesome. And so then he did a few more revisions, but actually since then he hasn't. But I also haven't hit him up, and that's because I was like, all right, this guy, I don't know, like I just the portfolios on Fiverr, I'll say, are not as great as they could be, and
Mhm.
because of that, like the portfolios that the freelancers are able to offer, I don't know what they have, like a bunch of watermarks and stuff, and
Yeah.
like you can't actually visit the website,
mm,
so you're just seeing screenshots of the website. So I was like, all right, like let me start doing some Googling. And basically, I found a bunch of like web design studios, some of them in the area. And I was like, cool, like maybe I'll actually be able to talk to them in person. We'll get this all fleshed out a lot better. Um, but longer story short, I guess, I ended up with a company that's based in San Francisco and Georgia or Atlanta, like they're two
Mhm.
bases. Um, and we had like a whole Zoom meeting a few days ago actually, and like went up through all the details, and like they've been so much more thorough than these other guys, but their prices are very much representative of like how thorough they are. And so I was
Right.
like, all right, this makes sense. Like now I understand that I wasn't really paying for quality. I was just paying for somebody to kind of throw things together and be like, yeah, this is a website. And we're like, what? Like, I
is
don't
it
know.
though? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's no functionality. So for the people, for people who are interested in like kind of their own websites, I will say um, do some more in-depth research. Don't
Yeah.
just stick on Fiverr. Um, there's a lot of little nuances that you might want, and it is going to be pricey.
Yeah. You
Did
get
you
what you
send
pay
me the
for.
one- the one on Fiverr for the first
Yeah,
guy?
it was the very first dude. I was so excited. I
Okay.
started sending people like I was
I
like,
know you
dude, check
sent it
this
to me,
out.
and I was like, I didn't know like how, if like because I remember you asked me like, yo, like, what do you think, or like point anything out, and I went on and I was like, bro, how much time you got? I see a lot of stuff. I was like, especially like the typos thing. I was like, dude, this is like
It,
this is
that one.
elementary. Like, this is how do you not know how to spell this or this or like
Yeah,
So
I think there were some placeholders in the very first one, like lorem ipsum or whatever, like that. It's not like real text, but it like presents itself as words.
Oh, I see.
right.
Um, so that's they just like used filler words for like some sections, but yeah, then like some areas just had a bunch of typos. Like, dude, like,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
yeah,
Dude,
Yeah. That's
Fiverr,
wild.
bro.
Fiverr, man, it's just I would not recommend. I mean, I don't know. I went through them for logos and for websites. And I ended up with a logo from somebody not on Fiverr and a website from somebody not on Fiverr. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah, take that, the way you want to take it, for anyone thinking about Fiverr.
And that's such a tough thing to find, though. Somebody you're gonna trust, you're gonna trust to do that stuff because it's representative of you. Like,
Exactly.
and you want it to be really good. Yeah. So I think that I can only imagine how frustrating that whole thing is. When you started, or now that you're in this process, because we already did this. Now that you're here, and you're kind of, you can see the finish, you can see where it's at. Is there at any moment, and I'm asking this because I went through this. I started church in 2018. And it sounds really easy. We just gather together, just, do church. But there's obviously like a lot of stuff, that goes in there, a lot of clerical work that needs to be done with the state, with the IRS. And nobody teaches you that. I went to like seminary, and, in seminary, they'll teach you like, here's this is how you teach the Bible. Here's words in Hebrew. Here's the alphabet in Greek. There's no class of like, this is how you deal with the state of California. This is, how you deal with the IRS, which there should be, because you're running, you're running an official thing. And one of the things that, I found out really early was you have to be very specific with like your bylaws. You have to be like very specific with all that. And I remember writing the bylaws for the church, and it was this like 25-page paper of just these like rules and regulations that the church would follow, and it just, you had to like include like how would new leadership be, and you can't just be like, well, I'll just pick them, like, because that's not correct. And like, what is grounds to removing the senior pastor? And it's one of those things that I was like, well, dude, I'm the senior pastor. I'm starting this. If I fail, doesn't this whole thing fall apart? And it's like, well, no.
Yeah. If I go tell y'all to come with me, yeah.
And it's like this whole thing of like, well, no, like, the church is its own thing, and you're,
So you had to write like when you have a job, right? They have like their different places will have like an employee handbook, or like the hiring process, mission statement, company that you had to make, because it's like you're the guy. You have to make all that up and like put it down on paper.
The creeds, what you believe.
Oh, that's a lot.
You have to do all that, and you have to like be very specific, where you're meeting, what do you do in your meetings,
protocol for different situations, like if getting rid of someone, hiring someone,
like, and so what kind of like church government now, and you would think like the state, why would the state care about what kind of church government you run? That's like strictly like theological. But the state wants to know that if you're ran by a single person, so like Calvary Chapel, for example, they're called, that's called the Moses model. And so it's the senior pastor is the guy, he has control, he decides, and he may have his leaders, but it's ultimately his word, and it's him. And I did elder run, so it's a group of people that run the church. So it's just it was so tedious, and it was like 25 pages that I had to write, and I would like I would tell my friend like, hey, can you read this? Does this make sense? What do I need to change? And it was just, I remember like we started church January 2nd. It was our first service. And I didn't know until people started to give offering. And I reached out to this pastor, and I'm like, hey, so what do I do with this? Like, what do I do with the offering? Because I don't want to put it in my bank, because
that's just weird. That's like,
I don't think that. Yeah, like there's something weird about that.
People might start questioning some things.
Yeah.
Like, dang, why is Jerm driving a Mercedes now? Or, like, wow, this is so crazy, but like, which we've seen,
Yeah.
like, like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
shout out to
yeah.
don't get me started. Don't get me
shout
started.
out to shout out
Half the
to
Joel.
driving
John
a Mercedes, the
Anthony.
community's falling apart, but whatever,
Yeah.
But,
Shout out to John Anthony. You live in Carey, but your people live in Carey, but you're driving a Mercedes.
oh my god,
Man, I was gonna say
Um,
Joel
yeah,
from
Joel.
Texas
Yeah.
from the other hurricane, dude.
dude, yeah,
Yeah.
oh my
Don't
god.
come here. Don't come here.
Uh,
But
Wait, so okay, so you reach out to this guy,
yeah, and I'm,
and like,
because I kind of want to ask him, like, hey, like, so what, what's the deal, and he's like, well, have you registered the church? And I'm like, well, with who? Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean register the church? And then he gave me the rundown. Like, okay, you gotta first secure your name. And so you go and you file for a fictitious business name, and hopefully it's there, and you got to write three names that hopefully fit. And all of a sudden it becomes real because now it's like,
yeah.
dang, like I've thought about this name for this church, but if you drive around, you'll find a bunch of churches have the same name. And so I filed it. Thankfully, they held it, and then you just kind of go and you go and you go. And it was the first 2 years was nothing but paperwork. When people would ask me what's been the toughest part, I'm like, honestly, setting this church up legally,
Yeah.
that's been the toughest part because you would get these offerings, and you just have money sitting like under the mattress almost, like,
I was about to say, like some
Dang,
soprano type stuff, like it's
yeah,
just
yeah. And obviously it's not like millions of dollars, but
it's a
you
significant amount.
yeah, and you feel responsible for it. You're like, well, this isn't my money. Like, I can't just like, oh, let me go, like shop on Amazon with this. And it was tough. And you finally set the bank account, and you don't want to put it. And I remember he told me, like, hey, you don't put your social, because you put your social, you're getting taxed for it
Oh yeah.
because it's a church. Like, this was your business, whatever, it doesn't matter. But if you put your social and you open the account under your name, you're getting taxed on it. And so it was such a long process. So I remember just in that process feeling like, and I could see the end, and I could see we're almost there. And I remember in the middle of it, just being like, "Dang, is this worth it? Like, do we really need another church here? Like, is this really?" Because you think to yourself, you're like, man, like, would we be better off joining somebody else and not doing this whole thing?
yeah, something already established, and then yeah.
Because even though my heart is to like be different and not be like some of the churches I grew up in where they're stealing from the community instead of like
Yeah.
giving. And like, man, my heart is different. I want to do good, but this is really frustrating because it's only you, and it was only me writing these things, and you're in there, and people are like, dude, how are you? And you're like, I don't know.
Dude,
I'm
man,
fine.
that
Like,
that
you,
question itself was a killer. Like during my toughest times, like
you,
same. It was just like I don't know how to answer that, man. Like I'm well. How are you? That was my automatic response. I'm well. How are you?
yeah, and you're just like, dude. And I remember going through that time, and I remember it was like the darkest moments mentally. And I was telling somebody from the church after all that finished, um, because we were talking, this person like was battling with like anxiety and all these things, and they're like, well, what about you? Like, have you ever dealt with? I'm like, dude, yeah, like I battle with like depression and stuff like that, and like I went through these moments of like wanting to like take my own life and blah blah blah. And they're like, oh man, when did that happen? And I'm like, 2018. And they start to, I can see them in their mind putting
Yeah.
two and two. They're like, wait.
We like, hey,
You
we
ha-
were hanging out, like, or like we saw you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what's going
Yeah. They're
on?
like,
Yeah.
dude, we're hanging out. You had started the church then. I'm like, yeah, man. Like that was the darkest moments because you're just so alone. You just feel like, man, I put this thing on me. And, David's known me for a long time. And I would tell people I'm going to be a pastor. I was telling people this. I was telling my mom. I was telling, so you have all this thing and you finally get there, but you realize like, there's so much work to be done. So I felt like, man, is this even worth it? Did you ever feel that? Like, do you in this moment,
Dude.
like when you're almost done, like, does that happen to you as well?
Not as much right now, I'll say,
Yeah.
because like I've gone through the toughest points, I'll say, or at
Mhm.
least in my mind, I think I've gone through the toughest points.
Yeah.
But yeah, going through, there was just like, especially, um, like I had mentioned my relationship. That was like, it wasn't as if out of nowhere it got bad. It was, things were over time. It just kind of like not, I'll say deteriorating. That just sounds like a strong word, but it was just like kind of little by little things would happen. And just like, dang, like you have to just kind of bear that. And then
Mm.
you, at least in my specific situation, it was like, all right, well, I still have to focus on like getting this thing together. So like, I can't let this affect me, even though it's affecting me. And so it was just trying to manage different mentalities and the emotions that come with them, I guess, like different life situations. But yeah, it was for me though. Oh man, actually, yeah. Now that I think about it again, I was gonna say, there have actually been multiple times where I felt the
Yeah.
same way. The earliest was when I didn't have a job in between, like, or I was actually I left I worked at the athletics department at USC, and then I briefly moved away to Portland. And for like a month, it was like just
Dude,
me looking for jobs.
Whoa.
Oregon State's taking our friends,
Yeah.
Sherm. That's like, oh my gosh. Because do
For
do
real.
you remember our friend Adrian, Aaron?
Yeah.
So he's living up there right now for a time, and his older brother lives up there too. So
No way.
like, I remember when Aaron called me, and dude, just I was shook because I didn't know at that time back then I didn't know some of this stuff was going on because
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but back then when you first left the athletic department, this was way before the business.
Yeah, way before.
This was like
Before even like this is 2018.
yeah,
Was it 2018? I think it might have been 2019. Man.
I think 2018, 2019 because like I remember we went to see USC at in Dallas.
Yeah. Oh
That
God.
was 2018. So it might have been 2019, but he called me and
It's
he was like,
2019.
dude,
Yeah, it's 2019.
he's like, I want like a fresh start. Like he kind of had like,
I remember that conversation actually. I know
yeah,
exactly
dude,
where I
I
was. You're
was
telling me
sad, man.
about.
He's like, yeah, I'm leaving Oregon. And I was like, what? I was like, dang, dude. Like, okay. I was like, guess I got to visit you in Oregon. And then, oh, dude,
Yeah,
that
man.
was rough. That was like, oh, dude.
It was yeah, it was rough on this end too, man. I was without a job and like I couldn't get a job up there and everything I was finding was like it wasn't sustainable. And I was living on my friend's couch just like looking for jobs for like, 5 hours a day and just like this is for a full month and I was like, this is so monotonous and that's where,
Mm.
kind of one of the lower points in my life where I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And so I was just like, it's not worth it. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go back home. And so I packed up my car, literally like one day decided, and then the next morning, everything that I owned, like every, like, everything here pretty much just put it in the back of the car, put a bike on the back, my bumper, and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm out. And I left my mattress up there because I couldn't bring it. I
Yeah.
was really sad because I love that mattress, dude. It was like, it was a Tempur-Pedic one. They formed to your body already.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
oh,
Dude,
dude.
yeah, man. I was like, I just fell into like a little crevice, and I was like, this is the shape of my body. Um, but yeah, so somewhere up there in a who has I don't know one of those public storage. Um,
Poor one,
but
dude.
yeah, but then like so then actually that kind of ties into like when I started working. So that following November of 2019. So this was July when I was in Portland, moved back in August, and then like even still those months in between, so like from August to November I was looking for a job, and that was tough, man. Like not having a
Mm.
job and not feeling productive is it's just it's really like low feeling. And I was I was kind of stuck here at home. I live in Pomona and all my friends live in Whittier, all my like so for me to do anything, it costs money, right? It's like it took at
Right.
least half an hour and some money. And then I didn't have a job, so I was like, I can't. I'm not even gonna. I can't. And then luckily, my best friend Heather, right? David's looking at me. I don't know. He's giving me like a bad look or something.
Oh no,
Okay. I was like, it's not a competition.
Chill.
It's not a competition.
I think he
Don't
wants
put
me
it on
to.
me, bro. That's fine.
I think he wants me to end the pod.
No, it's because like, I've heard the story. Like, so I'm just like, I'm like, okay, this, yeah.
So,
Heather hit him up for
the job at the high school.
Job. Yeah.
Yeah. She was actually in that position, and she's like, I'm just here because I needed a job, and she wanted to do like she's actually a counselor now, but that's what she was working towards being. And so same for me. I was like, all right, well, I just need a job because I didn't go to school for IT, but I just needed money, and so that's where I ended up for 2 years. Then got promoted to the district, and then the business.
Yeah. Man.
Real quick, okay, so taking it back a little bit. I remember when you called because you had just left the athletic department and then you were going up to Oregon, but there was that period where you were looking for jobs. I'm paraphrasing, but there was a part in that conversation where like you talked about like what you went to school for and you kind of wished that you had gone a different route because the jobs that you got were in that field. I think you got like a property management job at one point. You were like, dude, it was terrible. It was soul sucking. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Like it was trash. And something that you do outside of just the dumpster roll off business is, and obviously like drawing to like passion, but you also wish that you'd gotten into like working on cars because you have a bus, like a VW bus.
Oh yeah.
And so you're like you're getting your hands dirty. You're working on that. And so can you talk about that a little bit? Because I know you told me you're like, dang, that I actually like that. I wish I'd studied that instead of like going to a 4-year. Because a lot of kids. Real quick, when I went camping with these kids with this youth group, there were 6 of them, or 6 or 7. Most of them were football players. They're young, little 14-year-olds that play football. And so I'm hearing these kids talk about like their futures. And there's this one kid who's a fullback, and he was like, and they're talking about college already, and they're like, like I don't even know if I want to go to school, and like if I don't get a scholarship, and this is at 14. I'm like, dude, I was not thinking about scholarship.
Yeah, man.
But they're like, if I don't go to school, like I don't know what I'll do, blah blah, and because I don't know if college is for me.
Yeah.
And so me and this other counselor that were there, we were like, dude, there's so many things you can do outside of it before your college. Like you could do trade schools or like start your own business.
Man.
And also you just need to find that thing that you're passionate about. And it might not be football for some of you guys. Because one of them was like, he's like, I'm good at football, but it's not my passion. And I was telling him like, you could use football to maybe study something that you do like. You might find something that you do like, or not even go to school for something that you don't like.
Right.
Trade school. There's all kinds of things you can do. And I think people need to know that, because it's like, it's you and me talking about this at our age, when we were that age, at school they always tell you got to go to 4-year, you got to go to
all right,
and that's not the route for everybody. You know what I mean? So
exactly. Okay.
Go ahead, Carvel.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let me give it two. Let me get a 2-piece in. Take it from somebody who went to a 4-year and is still paying a ton of money for it. It's not everything is cracked up to me. Sure, like it's fun, right? But like afterwards, then you have to deal with it. You're like, okay, like did I focus while I was there? If the answer is no, if I had a bunch of fun and I like slacked off of my classes and I just picked a whatever major, then you're paying for it like in 2 ways. You're physically, like financially, and like just your life is a product of the work that you put in. And if you didn't put in a lot of work,
you're putting your time there. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So like, I mean, sure, like it's not for everybody, but college is for some people. And if you feel that that's your route, definitely take that.
Yeah.
But again, coming from somebody who went to USC, who's like, that's like, I want to go there my whole life. Dude, you do not need to go to college. Like you could go to a trade school. You could and when David was saying it earlier, I was like, man, I want to say it. Like, go to a trade school. Go learn how to be a plumber. Go learn welding. Dude, like these guys get paid $40, $50 an hour. I didn't even get paid that when I was in IT. I got paid like 30 something. It was like 32. And Honestly, I thought I was getting paid less, and I was a little, yeah. Anyways, that's not it. It was good money at IT, dude. They get paid
Yeah.
more to weld, and like these are things that are like our actual hobbies. Whereas in
Yeah.
IT, you're sitting at a desk all day, sending emails, reading like reports, doing very boring work. Whereas
Yeah.
like
I
you
got
could
locked out
be,
of my email again. Can you help me?
dude. Oh man. All right, let me ask you some security questions. I have to reset your password, and you're good to go. Man, that brings me back. Um, but like, dude, it just find David touched on this also. Like, I for a long time, especially when I was going up to Oregon, I thought I wanted to work on cars, and that's part of me wishes I wanted. Part of me wishes at least I took some classes for it.
Mhm.
Just to be like, I am able to pick up this knowledge very like this was to figure this out or not. And
Right.
excuse me, let me kind of back up. I wish I had taken cars. Oh God.
More seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I meant to say I wish I'd taken classes on cars, but yes, I
Oh,
wish I'd
okay.
taken cars and that whole field more seriously, just to see if like that's to see if I wanted to do or not. And I never really got that opportunity, in the sense in a classroom sense. Now, because I love camping, and I was like, if I could camp in a vehicle where everything is prepared and like it's suitable for camping, that'd be the best situation. So I bought a VW bus a few years ago. Very good deal because I bought it crashed on
Mm,
purpose
yeah.
because I know a mechanic who does body work, and like Mr. Miyagi, he like I will give up my Saturday mornings to work on his cars, and then so that he'll teach me to work on my own car, and then we'll also work on my own car while we're there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the Karate Kid, or he's just like no, 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 like you put these pavers down for my
He's like,
driveway, and then you'll know how to work on a car.
yeah, you gotta paint the fence first before you get to the, you gotta put in that time.
Yeah, no, but I actually have been doing like manual labor for this guy too, man. Like we drove out to Riverside, dude, and I put
You-
like 600 pavers, like stone bricks, in the back
Yeah.
of my truck, and I was like, dude, this is
You're like, how is this
I
gonna help me with the
Exploitation. No,
radiator?
just kidding.
Like, how is
exactly.
this gonna help me with the radiator?
You're like, shut
Dude,
up.
I
You're
was
like,
like,
get back
just
to
do what I
work.
say, man. Just do
You'll
what I
know. You'll
say.
know at the end.
Yeah, it'll be a grand lesson.
You
It'll all
know.
reveal itself to you. And when you do tell me, that's what I feel like. Yeah. But yeah, so like on Saturdays I'll be, so I am learning, but I went a different way about it. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, find a hobby, right? See if you like it, and then if you do, then pursue it in a more practical way, with like a trade school. Like there's, I don't know, I can't think of like the automotive ones off the top
Mhm.
of my head. I think it's like UEI or something like that. But
Yeah.
then there's
Yeah, yeah, like you said, plumbing. Well, dude, HVAC. Like I'm meeting like HVAC
Dude,
people, and I'm like, oh,
HVAC,
what? Like,
man.
so
You could
that's what I'm
even go
saying.
to a school like Trade Tech. Shout out to Trade Tech, where they do both.
Yeah,
It's a community college and it's a trade
Oh,
school.
nice. Okay.
So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
if you're like, what, I don't know if I want to go traditional. I don't know if I would, I want to be a teacher. I want to be,
E-
be a welder,
e-
a plumber.
Exactly.
You do both right
Electricians,
there. Yeah,
same thing.
electricians, the whole thing.
Like at least I looked into the IBEW, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, or something like that.
Hmm.
It's their union for electricians, and like they were basically saying that we teach you and you get hands-on experience on like we then you go out into the field with
Yeah.
like the journeymen and the masters and all the people who do this as their profession.
Right.
So you're learning, and then you also get to make money from what like
Yeah.
I don't, dude. I went to school for my degree is in political economy. I don't want to be an economist. It has no. I went to school for the paper, and that's what I'm saying. Like school, I know it's being pushed on like a lot of kids, but there are different routes,
yeah,
for it.
yeah. Look at all your options. Look at all
Yeah.
your options.
But I think also you don't have to go to USC.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it.
And I
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that's the like other of like you don't have to pick the
Okay.
name school just so that you can say, because you can go to Cal State LA and it's a lot cheaper, and you can get a good degree and you can be able to do that and not be like just like squashed with all the debt after.
Yes. Even okay, so speaking of debt, specifically about that. So my senior year of high school, I actually didn't apply to the University of Laverne. That's where I ended up going my freshman year.
Yeah.
I ended up going there because of football, right? Because our head
Hmm.
coach was actually getting his online masters from there. And then I don't know how it came about. He basically was like, "Hey, why don't you apply there? You might be able to play there." And it being so close to my house, that was actually the biggest factor. I was able to see the school, actually do a tour and all that. Um, but yeah, so like I said, that was my first year of college. I was at Laverne, um, because they offered such a great financial aid package. Like it was like um, I think that had I graduated from there, like had I stayed there, I would only had to pay like $9,000, like for all 4 years, just a total of
Dang.
$9,000 for a 4 year college.
Woo.
So one, look around. Like if you do want to go to school, like a 4 year university, look around at all your options. But
Yeah.
what I really want to say from this is that like my first option was how do I word this? I actually want to say two things about it. It was the best option for me financially. So like look, like do what's best for you, right? That's kind of the core that I want hopefully somebody to take away from that. Like I
Right.
chose Laverne because it was the best option for me financially, and because like at least at the time I thought I was going to play football and continue that route.
Hmm.
Um, but but two, community college, like there's all the classes that I
Yeah.
paid for, paid thousands of dollars for at USC, general education classes. You get the same credit, paying
Free.
like a couple $100 for for the
Yeah.
whole semester, whereas I paid. Dude, we had a joke at USC where like if you slept through a class and because you calculate like per dollar hours or something like that, the whole tuition is per like
Yeah.
per how many hours the units, I don't know what. Basically, it was like you just wasted $180 because you missed that class.
Mhm.
Like one class was $180.
That's
And that's
crazy.
what you pay for at like a community college, right? For the whole semester. I don't know how
Yeah.
much, but it's a few
Probably. I mean, dude,
classes.
when I was going to the community college here, it was like $46 per unit, dude. It's a
That
steal.
yeah.
That's like you said, for GEs.
Go get your GEs at a community
That's what I'm
college,
saying, man.
save your
You know,
money, figure out what you want to do, and if you think that 4 years is for you, then pursue that route. But like, it's not necessary. Again, take it from somebody who
Yeah.
learned the hard way. Again, I had fun at USC, and like, I want to give every side of it as much as possible. Like, paint the full picture. But the full picture is that it was costly. I'm still paying for it. I graduated December of 2017. It is what is it? You're making me do math. Like 6 years later, and I'm not
maybe
even
do
dude. I'm
that.
not okay. But there was that 2 year pause though, so like I didn't make any payments. But like I have a lot of debt. I got a
Yeah.
lot of debt from USC, man. Yep, that's
Yeah.
all I want to say about that.
Yeah. And I think that's I think what the thing of like doing what you want is crucial because if you hate it, you're gonna quit. One.
Yep.
Two, it doesn't necessarily have to be your passion, because you can have your hobby as your passion and your job pays for your hobby and you get that fulfillment of like life and all that. But it's just, yeah, finding the balance and choosing what's best for you and being honest with yourself as well. Like what is it that you really are going to do with this? Because you can, I'm going to, I went back to school and I realized, so I've been doing procurement for like 4 or 5 years now. And in the public sector, it's called procurement. In the private sector, it's called supply chain management.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. I was like looking at like jobs and I was like, man, like do people not hire procurement people? And I was like, no, it's supply chain. And I'm like, dude,
That's
I like supply chain. I know how to do supply chain. And you see how much, people make and like, dude, I could like do supply chain for, I don't know, Coca-Cola and like they can like fund my entire like passion. And that's and that's what it is. Like I get home and I'm able to like record this and I'm able to go to church and I'm able to do the things that I really love and also not be super miserable with my job. And I think that's also finding that because I think sometimes with when people like with young people when like I don't know what to do, it's you got to find something you're good at. You got to be realistic as well as to what it is that you want to do because if you asked me when I was little, I wanted to be the quarterback for the 49ers. That was my dream. I wanted to be, Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is
Yeah.
living my dream.
Jeff Garcia.
Yeah, Jeff Garcia. But you grow up and you realize, yeah, that's never going to happen. It's just the way it is. Biologically,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to do that. And so then you got to, change that. And so I found like, man, like as I get older, I like this job. I'm pretty good at this job, but this job funds all the fun stuff that's going to be rewarding for me. And I think that's also the key. Like it's not always passion projects all the time, but it's if this helps you to like do this and I tell people like, man, like I love doing the podcast because it's so relaxing and it's just for me and it's just what it is. Like we're not cashing any $1 million checks yet.
Yet.
Yeah. But
yeah,
it's just, like my job allows me and I have the affordability to do it. And I think that's also like another layer to it as well. When you're choosing or thinking like, what can I do? What should I do?
Yes. Two things that I'm glad I held on to the first thing. I'll say it really quickly. It's actually related to an earlier topic is when you were saying procurement, it reminded me that I'm going on a huge tangent. My mom worked procurement. That was the one thing I want to say about procurement. But two, it reminded me of like all the trucks and stuff, right? That like she buys from vendors and like they deliver in the trucks and stuff.
Yeah.
Which related to the thought of like that's another option for kids if you like driving and if you're comfortable on the road, dude, truck driving pays money. And it doesn't even have to be like the long distance hauls. You can be local. Like if you drive like I think you were mentioning Pepsi and that's really what sparked the like, oh, that's why I was like getting all excited on the video. Cause dude, like you can drive locally for Pepsi. You get your CDL and you're making like $50-$60 maybe an hour, probably. I don't know. Once you get up there, right? But like that's another option for young people. You can just make money right away and then
JB Hunt, yeah,
exactly. Figure out. Now we're getting into like the nitty gritty though, because then there's like some companies. Cause you learn this when you're going through the driving school for the CDL that like they're like not good companies. Well, actually, it's like the ownership. They make it really difficult for the workers and they want like they, like I'm gonna say like we're in California, right? So with like the drug testing for people, like you cannot smoke weed and drive a truck. Sorry, kids. Especially for like the big haulers, like as soon as you cross state lines, that is a federal law. You kind of get away with it if you're in state. It's like a little more, it's, anyways. So truck driving, great money, different opportunities. It's not, you don't have, it's, the school is at most, it's a few months and you're learning how to drive a vehicle again. You've probably, especially if you're younger, you probably just went through this to get your license to drive a regular car. Now, again, it's a lot, not again, but very important. This is a bigger vehicle where a lot more precautions need to be taken. And this is, now we're getting into like live, safety, lives. But also, I don't know why I mentioned this, but I kind of want to mention it just because I went through it. Like when you're on the road, on the freeway, don't cut off a truck driver. One, that's that's them in their office. You're like making their whole workday really bad. And two, they're driving 80,000-pound vehicles that can flatten your vehicle in an instant. Don't cut off a truck driver.
What about asking them to do the horn? Is that acceptable?
That's cool. That's cool.
Okay. That's cool.
As long as you're not distracting them like too much. Like if they're just like, if you're in traffic and stuff, if they're like intent on not, like they're focused on they're at their job. That's a huge thing that people probably don't realize, that like, oh, these guys are driving a truck. No, they're at work right now. They are, so it's good money, but understand that you're dealing with the freeway, the environment. Like you have to deal with people like yourselves, like me, like people driving crazy. I don't drive crazy. I'm just saying, like,
yeah, of course.
You have to deal with people on the freeway. That was a huge tangent. Dang it, was that? I don't know if that
I
was
remember
the
you
same
had to
thing I want to
explain
say.
that to me when we were in the truck.
You're good.
Like when
bro.
I visited you last time, you were like,
Yeah.
because I'd never thought of that. I just, not that I'm out here cutting off truck drivers,
Yeah.
but people do, right? And so
Yeah.
like we were in the truck when I visited last time, and he's like, dude, like he's like, it's a thing because like you said, you're hauling all this weight, and you can't stop on a dime for these little things like the way you can in like my Matrix, for example, which is like it's a sedan.
Dude.
So he's like, yeah. So if someone cuts you off, and you have to stop. Like that's a lot of momentum and friction where it's like and it sucks.
It takes
and
like
and I was like, damn, I never thought of it that way. So.
Yeah. Like when I change between even my regular pickup truck, right? It like takes me probably twice as long to stop versus how long I would in a regular car. And when I switch from my truck to a car, I'm like, oh my God, the handling is so good. And you can stop so quickly. I'm like, oh my dude, now I understand why people drive like this. And that's how I drove my whole life. But like having driven a truck for a year, I feel like I don't know. It's a whole different world. Man, there was something I wanted to touch on. It might have been that because the first thing was the procurement, and then the second thing was that truck driving is an opportunity, and and then I went off on the tangent about the safety, but
it's very important.
It is important. Talking about like people's futures, you have to be around to have that future.
That's kind of how that works. If you're not around, you kind of don't get a future.
Yeah. It's just,
No, I get you. I feel you.
Sleep in a bucket.
What is, what is like, some of the things, because you've touched on, like kind of like the way that you're going to be able to enjoy the business and helping and all that. But besides those things, what other stuff or what other things are you excited to enjoy? Like what once you're like, man, like this is going, I'm doing this. What's another thing or things that you're excited for?
Oh man, it's funny because I'm looking at the video right or on Zoom and like we can see each other's reactions and I'm going crazy here all silently and now I understand how like people on the radio stations are where it's like they have to turn their mics off and so I grew up in traffic all the time, grew up listening to K-Rock and Power 106. That was like both of them very
shout to them,
very expressive. Yeah, man, I love both those radio stations. But while you were asking me that question, I was getting excited because. One, because I love that question. Two, because it was actually what I was trying to remember just now. In that there was actually an earlier want of also summer of 2020. A lot of things happened summer of 2020. Yeah. That's when I started drawing again, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like I wish I could develop that more. And then that's I was working IT at the time, so I was making decent money. I was like, yeah, I'll just draw when I want to as like a side thing. Right. But drawing is actually what helped me like get through some tough times when I was at the district, right? When I got promoted from the high school and I was just dealing with some like coworkers I didn't agree with. Yeah. And I was like, I just wanted to draw, like, not focus on that. And so eventually I was like, maybe I could do like drawing full time. And I was like, no, I'm not good enough to do that yet. Like I can't spend all this time not making money drawing this thing and then for it to not pay for my needs for all my bills and stuff. So this is
put them on Instagram.
Sorry, say that again.
Put them on Instagram. How much for this drawing?
Yeah, dude. I wish I see, and that was like the motivating factor. That was probably the first thing of like, I want to do this for my business. I want to draw. Like, I want this to be my full-time thing, and so. All the factors that I talked about earlier with like the volunteering, wanting to help out with them, with like my job sucking, with the traffic, with like, wanting to learn Spanish. It was just so I could have more free time to actually like work on myself and and the things that I want to do were like learn Spanish and draw and be at home and all that. And so I was like, how could I do that? And so that specific niche business of renting out dumpsters was chosen. Like I was like, this is a good idea, right? But I specifically followed through on that because
the business itself is like I am just driving a dumpster to somebody's business or somebody's location, dropping it off, going back home, and then a few days later they tell me I'm done, like I'll pick it up, or like time to pick it up. And so now it's just like my business is literally just me driving back and forth between places. All this 2 years of setup so that I can have an easy business where like I'm making decent money to then fund the things that I actually want to do relating to, to answer your question finally. And, I want to draw, like I want my drawings to, I want to get so good at drawing that like people pay me, like, oh, I want, like
commissions. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But like, so there was a lot of work, and then like the inspiration for drawing to be the full-time thing kind of fell off because the money at the district, the school district it was decent, right? Hey man, okay, Escamilla, we had David, we have
it's so cool. Real quick. Hearing you call me David is so weird.
I know. That's why I said that I had to clear it up. I was like, okay, well,
I know.
I had to throw David and Escamilla in the same sentence. Just so that people would be like, who's Escamilla?
You can call me Escamilla. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I didn't know if if it was established that. Okay, cool.
Well, we've had people call David by his like childhood nickname.
Okay, can we touch on that real quick? Remember the drawings.
Yeah.
For my defense, I've told people David. That's what I tell people.
Yes. Okay, Jerm.
Even on the pod, I'm like David. This
is important because
it doesn't come from me, and I tell people, hey, we're gonna record. David's gonna be on with us. But it's been his childhood nickname. I used to call him that, and the reason I stopped, I remember one time, David's like 15, 16-year-old David. He was growing up, and he's like, hey, my name is David. I'd like for you to call me David.
Yes, okay.
And I'm like, dude, that's fair. That's your name, man.
You're the only one.
I've called him David.
Yes.
So people have called him his childhood nickname. And
do you know that nickname, Aaron? Do you know that one?
Maybe, but
people call me Tito.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so but shout out to Germ, because Germ, like he's just said when I told him, he's one of the few that like respected that, and I was like, So and then when I moved away from LA, like when I was up here, I thought now I can reinvent myself and people can call me by actual name, and so up here people call me David. Some people even started calling me Dave, which I'm cool with. Like I have certain friends that call me Dave, and I'm like one of them is Mike. I'm like, oh Mike, you can call me Dave for sure. I like that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say and Mike.
So,
exactly. Yeah.
Right, but yeah, dude. So people call me Tito for the longest time because my brother couldn't say Davidcito when I was little, because he was 3. He was 3 when I was born.
Yeah.
So people would call me Davidcito, and so he would try to say that, and Tito is what came out of his mouth. So growing up, like in church, that's what everybody called me, to the point where like the head pastor, because my dad used to work for him. My dad mentioned his son David to him. He's like, and he was like, "Wait, you have a third son?" Because obviously this is my brother Samuel. And then the pastor knew me as Tito, and he's like, "Who's this son David you keep talking about?" And he's like, "No, that's Tito." Like
that just tells you how like terrible of a pastor that guy was.
That's it. No. It's important.
Okay.
Trust me. We'll talk about that later. Maybe like post pod. But anyway, So, but people like, it was the thing that people knew me by that name. People didn't even know my real name was my I shouldn't say real name, but like my official like real name is David.
Yeah.
And so I told Germ, I was like, I want to be called David, and he's even my friend Adrian, he still calls me Tito, which like I'm cool with that because it's him. He's known me, so I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But some other people like don't even know that, and so. But hearing you call me David is weird because you've only called me Escamilla.
That's because I was like, I don't know what's the protocol here. We're like calling first names, or you shoot, I shoot, or what do they say in Star Wars? Or like you talk, I talk.
Yeah, just like because then we have another friend like Jacob, and we call him Gamboa.
Dude, yeah.
And so calling him Jacob for us is kind of weird, and then his family calls him Jake, and so we're like. What's going on here?
Different. But like, like when you're around in that situation, it's like,
that's for sure. That makes sense. Yeah. But okay, all right. Anyway, but okay, drawing.
No, you're good. You're good. Perfect. I'm glad I was able to hold on to that. So, I was actually talking about like the money being decent from the job, right? And it was like not making me want to pursue drawing that much because I was like, well, if I could just do this, and then like, I'm not really that interested in drawing to the point where like I force myself to improve to make people like it more, or I don't know, whatever. But relating to that, like, and also the conversation we just had, ironically enough, we have Cox, right? Andrew Cox, I'll say.
Oh yeah.
He his dad, when I would be there all the time, he'd be like, "Hey, make sure you don't get the golden handcuffs," which is basically like you stay in a job because it pays well enough that like you don't.
Dang, I like that golden handcuffs.
Yeah, you don't like leave.
You stop
like,
living like almost.
Your passion goes out to do, or like you like. It's like you become complacent because like I have this job, everything is comfortable. I'm gonna stick with this, and you don't like try to elevate yourself. Or at least that's how I interpreted all that. He just said, "Don't get golden handcuffs." Like, at least I don't know what like the like his interpretation of that was, but how I received that was
right. That makes sense. I like that. Like Germ said, I'm like, ooh, that's a bar. That's like,
don't get golden handcuffs.
Yeah, that's gonna be on the title.
Nice.
Silence is golden.
Nice.
Shut up and get rich. Yeah.
Dude, sorry, say that again.
I said silence is golden. Shut up and get rich. Remember that one from that one teacher?
Oh man, yeah. Wait, what did you finish it though? Did you say the last line?
That's no.
So I have a different one. Oh, okay. Is that from Ansich then?
Yeah, Coach Ansich. Yeah.
Okay. So from what I was familiar with, he said that right. Silence is golden. Shut up and get rich. And then he would finish off with duct tape is silver though. So if it's not golden,
okay, all right.
Here's some duct tape for you.
Dang, I hadn't heard that one. He never said that one in class. All right, all
right. He might have just mentioned it in a one-off, but it stuck with me, and I was like, "That's hilarious." Yeah. He's probably specifically directing it to me though, because dude, there was one time where like Gambo and I were having like we always had great football conversations in that class. Even with Ansich would literally give an assignment to the rest of the class just so he could go talk to me and Gamboa about football, about St. Paul. I'd be like, you're like, hey, what should I do for the uniforms this year? I'm like, what, dude? Aren't you gonna teach us the periodic table?
This is a chemistry teacher.
Yeah.
And he's a football coach at a neighboring high school.
I see.
He was fun. He was, dude. This guy, he was like, if you had to do like Saturday school for him because you were behind in class.
Yeah.
I remember he said this once. Like he was like, if you're late for Saturday school, he's like, I'm not letting you in the door. Like you cannot come into class if you're late. And I remember this one time I had to go to a Saturday school.
Yeah.
And I told my dad, and my dad was taking his sweet time brewing that coffee, and I was like, dude, you don't get it. If I'm late, I cannot, like, by a minute, nothing. He's shutting the door.
Yeah.
But he would always say, this was always like his little, like, little secret key. He's like, if you're late, I won't let you in. He said, but if you bring me like some Del Taco breakfast burritos, I'll let you in, because he was super into like Del Taco for some reason. So I was like, all right,
that makes sense. I
that was cool. But I ended up having to run from, and his class is at the back of campus,
dude.
Yeah.
So my dad dropped me off,
and uphill.
I sprinted. I was like, dude, all at the time 270 pounds of me were like, dude, running through campus with my backpack bouncing up and down on my back. And I made it in time, but I was like, I don't want to be late. Yeah, sweating, like breathing heavy, and my dad was like, you should have woken me up early. I'm like, that's not the point. You're taking your time making your coffee. Like I'm gonna be late to class and not pass class, dude. But
he threw me in the he told me to go in the back hallway one time because I was talking too much.
Oh. Dude.
That's like this punishment for people is like this hallway between classrooms. It's like go
stand
the rest of class
go stand up there and think about what you did.
It's like a little rectangular window. You just look through. You're like, hi everybody. Like, here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny. Dude. Oh man.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Now, this is the final question for me. when, because drawing would be the crescendo, which is, I think, the awesome part of it. That's
Yeah.
like so beautiful of it, because it's a whole golden cups, like what you really want to do is the drawing, but something has to fund it, and it's like
Yeah.
the escape from the golden cups. It's amazing. How has your family and your friends and your support group, have you had that? Do you have a good support group through this whole process, or is it just lone wolf type of thing?
I wouldn't say. Well, yes and no, because right, like you probably experienced this with setting up the church.
Right.
Is that you got to do everything? No one else is gonna It'd be a favor for somebody to do something, and actually, that's why I'm saying yes and no. Because for me, I had to fill out all the paperwork. I had to register my own name, where I sign my name on every line, and fund everything, or not everything, right? Because then we're getting into now here's the yes and no part. I have the love and support of my family, and they've been able to help. The financing the truck, I would not have been able to do that without my grandma's help. And so that was the first step of everything, just getting mentally getting ready. I'm going to drive this truck. I need this truck. And so that was one thing. And then another thing along the way was, and this was cool because now I'm getting I'm reaping the benefits of going to USC. And then I don't want to highlight this pretty much at all, other than what I'm about to say, is that I was in a fraternity, and one of my brothers, he went to, exactly. It's funny, right? He went to law school after he graduated from USC. And so he was able to help me with all my legal stuff for the business. And dude, I was oh man, he drafted all the contracts, or the contract that the terms and conditions, basically read this, sign it. All right, now we have a deal. He did that. And and I'm pretty sure all I got him was a bottle of a couple bottles of alcohol or something. Just a thank you, so much. And he and I are great friends. Some scotch, some whiskey or something.
Yeah, here's your blue label. Yeah,
top shelf, man. He just, dude, I was so appreciative, because that's that would have been a huge worry. I don't know anything about that. And then I would have paid for somebody's services otherwise, and I don't know how much that would have cost, but that would have been
or if you could trust them too. With that's the thing with lawyers too. It's dude, I don't know. You can't read that stuff.
You get a Saul Goodman type, and you're just what's going on here?
And I only know that recently, that that joke would have flown right over me. Prior to New Year, we were watching the first episode of Better Call Saul.
Oh, okay.
And they're oh yeah, he's actually not a good lawyer. I was oh, okay,
God,
okay. He's not a good person or something right? Yeah. So he's
I love that show. That show's amazing.
Yeah. I actually see. Oh man, I'm scared to start shows like that, because I know they will just suck my life up. Just all my free time is going to go to that. And I have I'll say an addictive personality. And once I like something, I'm going to spend a lot of time on that until
we celebrate that here. We celebrate that, because then we can just do a pod about it. We can just
more content,
whatever it is.
I'm talking about my actual reaction. If you heard the dude right now, was actually from the concept itself of celebrating the idea of use your vice if you have to. If that's what's in your way of you being a better person, get that out of the way. Play your video games, waste your time, in quotations, sitting around doing whatever you're doing. And then when you have expended that urge, this is my own personal philosophy, that is.
Right.
And it's a recent one. Cause for me, I always want to play video games. I get home from work, I want to play video games. And then I'm it's what helps me decompress. And then once I'm done and I've kind of yelled at the screen a little bit, then I can be okay, now I'm cool. Now I want to get my
I can be
my chores done.
Now. Yeah.
Exactly. But if not, then the whole time I'm gonna be grumpy from work, and then I'm not gonna I'm not gonna effectively do what I have to do afterwards. So that's it, it was kind of like validated, but it was a philosophy. It was validated later on, but it was a philosophy that I've kind of had, I guess. Maybe it's me justifying how I procrastinate, but if it works, hey. So like I think I read in a book called, and I love this book. I tell people all about it, and it's like one of the few that I've read in a while. So it, you know, take what you will from that, but it's called "Be Water, My Friend" by Shannon Lee, Bruce Lee's daughter, and I'm pretty sure that's where I got it from. But otherwise, you should read that book. It's not very long, and it's very helpful. It honestly helped me like continue like with the business. It, helped me like focus better and. What was I gonna say? Dang, I'm glad I haven't had too many of like these forgetful moments. But oh yeah, so play your video games, do whatever you have to do to like
get yourself in the right mindset. Yeah,
decompress and then go after the
get the fog out of the way, right? Like clear that fog, and then once you have that clarity of like, okay, like I am now ready mentally and like physically, whatever it is, I can now handle this task.
Yeah.
Also on that topic of like completing tasks, you might have seen this from like social media and stuff where like there's like this military instructor who says like you should do your bed in the morning every morning. I can't because I have like I would have to like crawl, like underneath the ceiling and like tuck the bed in and stuff every morning. I'm not gonna do that.
That is true though. That is true. That is true. Yeah.
To like get one victory out of the way, because then it's like, all right, I have a checklist, and like you naturally want to keep that momentum going, and like so start off with something small, get that done, like a task, right? A chore, something that's easy but that you have to do, and then it gives momentum for the next chores, the next tasks. And that's what I got from the book, which relates to that video from the military instructor. But I learned that from Be Water, My Friend, and it helped me with like helping me maintain momentum through getting the business for all these 2 years.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. I had it's funny because you mentioned the whole video game before you get started. I had one of my friends, we used to be roommates.
Yeah.
And I used to get home from work, and before I did anything, I would turn on GTA and I would play GTA for like half an hour, and I would just half an hour before, and I would just go rogue, and I would just killing and just collect all the stars, and then I would do that, and he would just like, dude, you're not even doing the story. I'm like, don't worry about that. And so I would finish. And then I would like start studying like for a sermon or whatever. And he's like, "Are you?" I'm like, "Dude, this is cheaper than therapy." One, and I just need to. I just need. I just was at work. I took the
just need some free time to let it out. Yeah.
I just have all this like build up stuff. I just need to get through it, because if I just get home and start working on my study, it's just going to be a really bad study. So it's 100% true. And now that I'm an adult, well, I mean, I was an adult then too, but now that I'm an adult here,
I used to be, but I still am. But I used to be too.
Now it's, let me turn on the game for a little bit, and let me just like 30 minutes, take off my shoes. Okay, now I'm ready for what's next. It's true. Like, it's 100% true.
Take a breath, man.
Yeah, 100% true.
On this topic though, like releasing stress, I feel I'm not too sure, but I feel like this might be geared from the questions towards like a younger high school audience that are like trying to figure out their way, navigate their way, or like like whether that's spiritually or like with or I'm not too sure. Right? This is me just kind of like spitballing,
pontificating, just thinking out loud. Yeah.
But if it is, hopefully, this will help somebody, especially for like the guys out there. Like, it is okay to cry, man. Like, it is helpful to like let it out and not let whatever that is hold you back. Whatever, because it's like,
true.
Because you're gonna dwell on it for however long, right? And then it's gonna inhibit your progress towards whatever task whatever task you want to do. All this I'm getting is from the same book. That's why I'm like, it's such an impactful book that I always try to recommend it to everybody. But like, just if you're stuck on a thought, you have to like, and you don't want to think about it, you have to dwell on it. Because if you don't, then it's never gonna pass. And if it doesn't pass, then it's always gonna stop you. It's always it's always gonna be there, and it's always gonna it's always just gonna be whether the back of your mind, the front of your mind, it's gonna be occupying mental space, and it's not gonna let you use everything that you need to use mentally, like all your full capacity. You know, you can't use 100%, but like the most that you can towards.
You have to deal with it. You have to.
Yes, get through it. Don't go around it. Go through it.
It's true. Yeah, it's funny because the Bible talks about like taking every thought captive.
Yeah,
you know, and just that idea. It's so true. Like you can waste your life because your thoughts just like take you away. Oh, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And it's just like realizing like I need to like face on and kind of go through it. And with everything, it's just the way it goes. Like I remember when I first started recording, and in the beginning, it's like, dude, like, are people even gonna hear this? And are people even gonna like this? And do I sound weird? And what helped me, there was this pod, the guy, I think his name's Rick Rubin, I think, and I've shared it with Dave.
The producer, of
big
course,
long beard,
yeah, and he has this thing where he says, you do it for you, and because it's what you like, and every time I see that video on TikTok, Instagram, wherever, I like it, and I just like, because I'm like, dude,
you want to see that again? Yeah, I want to be reminded.
Because it's so true, like, and it's I've seen that in the church. I remember just getting criticized by some people because I'm not a yeller. I don't yell from the pulpit. I'm not like, oh hey, like I'm just calm and people. I remember this older like Hispanic lady being like, I wish you would yell. Like, I wish you would yell. And I'm like,
that's funny.
Okay. But it just, I think going through those moments and like finding your passion, your voice, and being like, man, like I'm satisfied with this. And, David and I are starting to see, with some messages that we get about like this thing we're doing. And it's like, dude, that's sick. Like we weren't even thinking of you in the good sense.
Yeah,
like we're like tailoring
it
this
wasn't
for you.
A present. Yeah, mine.
It's like, dude, this was for us. Like we log off and we're like, dude, that was sick. I had fun.
Yeah.
Time well spent. And for people to be like, dude, that was awesome. And it's just like, yeah, like that's what this thing is for. So yeah, like the thoughts can keep you from doing that type of stuff and experiencing love and experiencing the joy of living.
Yeah, man.
Like thoughts keep you from experiencing that joy that life is, sucks sometimes, but it's ultimately overall it's really good.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
It's like, how do I relate that? Like, okay, to make an example of that, recently, so I don't know, I guess like a lot of things had changed in how I would like to live my life in the past few years, and so a lot of things had been implemented, but like there are periodically times. This is actually what helped me get through like driving home in traffic on the way home from from Whittier. Is I would pretend that I was in Mexico. Like I would drive home and I'd be like, we're not in the United States. This is like a different country. And I'd be listening right to Mexican music. And so like, it would just be like, I'm experiencing everything for the first time again, even though I'm familiar, like I'm driving, it's the same freeway, but like just the feeling, like I was just mentally put myself elsewhere and automatically it was just a better experience. And it's just like, like how you were saying with the Rick Rubin, it's on you, however you want to like, I don't know, like, yes, there are real world, like every day there's like real world situations that you have to deal with and stuff. But at the same time, like you can't contribute 100% of your time to everything, to every one of those problems 100% of the time. Like it's just impossible to spread yourself out in like different facets of your life like that. And so like, and when you have down periods, try to like recollect something, I guess. And for me, it was like the sanity that I was trying to regain, after leaving that job that I didn't like. And it was like, yeah, this is cool. Like I don't know how to describe it, but like if you apply that, hopefully it gives you a similar experience where like you literally just mentally think like, I am not where I am right now. I'm actually in a different country where I want, or like whichever country I want to be in, or whatever place I want to be in. And then I don't know, it was more enjoyable. It was it was a helpful tool to to get through some tougher times.
There's a video. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's a guy going back to like we were talking about like letting things out, crying, whatever, dealing with things, confronting them, letting them go. There's a video of this guy, and he's like with a group of young boys, and he has like a glass of water, or just a glass, an empty glass, and he has a bigger glass full of water, and he starts pouring it, and he tells the kids, "All right, guys, I want you to tell me when to stop pouring the water, okay?" So he's pouring the water in the cup, and then as it's getting to the top and it's about to overflow, the kids are saying, "Stop, stop, stop!" And then the water starts overflowing, it's making a mess. And he's like, "All right, guys," he's like, "Here's the deal." He's like, "That cup," he's like, "That's us." He's like, "The world, people around you, your environment, it's going to pour all kinds of things into you, feelings, emotions, thoughts, whatever the case is." And he was like, "That's what the water is." And he said, "As you can see, if you don't take the time to let some of those things out or deal with them, confront them, go through them, it's going to overflow." He's like, "No, the overflowing right now is just that mess of water. But in real life, that might look like you might be grumpy. You might go off on like brother, sister, friend, teacher in school. You might get in trouble at school. You snap at your parents with the kid, whatever the case is." And he's like, as men, he's like, people in general, but as men, he's like, you got to take the time to let those things out, deal with them, confront them, and just so it doesn't overflow. So you're not over here, you're not a mess, And he's like, so talk about that, with your friends, your dad, whoever you can trust and whatnot. Yeah. So that was a cool example. And then I talked about this one before, but Canelo of all people, a Mexican boxer, a Mexican man.
Tough.
But there was a video of like his son in the gym with him, his little boys like 3 or 4. And his son wants to be a boxer already. He says, "Yeah, my son watches YouTube videos of me boxing." And so he says he wants to be a boxer, and he's like, "I don't know. It's a rough life fighting." But anyway, so his son like fell over at one point, and he was like, "Dad, I didn't cry." He's like, "I didn't cry." And his trainer, Eddie Reynoso, was like, "Yeah," like he gave him the whole like men don't cry kind of thing. Which is like, okay, but then Canelo went over to his son and he was like, "Hey," he's like, "in life," he's like, "whether you get hurt," he's like, "whatever the case is," he's like, "sometimes you got to cry. You got to let it out." He's like, "And there's nothing wrong with that." And I was like, dang, dude, for him to say that, of all people, I was like, that hit me. I was like, dang, dude. I was like, I never would have thought. So, but yeah, you got to let those things out, man. I had to tell the kids that at like the camp because like, because they're starting high school and I was like, dang, they just finished middle school. So they're going to get into that age where like they're going to start making their own decisions, dealing with things. And I was like, you guys got to have someone, whether that's me or your dad, someone else that you trust, another friend that you really trust. You got to have those people that you can like talk to, discuss things, like let things out with. Otherwise you'll be a mess, dude. Like you guys said, it'll consume you and you're like, miserable, dude. But
preoccupied and you just, I don't know, can't focus 100%.
Can't focus, not yourself, dude. Yeah, dang. Dude, Jerm, you caught me off guard with that GTA, dude. Like, you were just like, what would you do in GTA? Like, before the sermon. I'm like,
it's GTA, man.
Come on. You know what I would do. Come on. He's acting like he's never heard GTA.
All you have to say is, that's all you had to say is, I'm playing GTA. And then just get the idea.
No, everybody knows exactly what I was doing. When I say I was playing GTA and I went rogue, we all know. We all know. We all know. Yeah, that's awesome. Do you guys have any final thoughts before we close?
No, covered
Aaron,
a lot.
real quick, Aaron, since we haven't asked, what is the name of your business? Because people aren't they didn't see the logo, but what? Yeah, real quick with that.
So okay, actually, I have a story for that too. If that's really
Nice.
like really quick one.
Go for it. Take as much time as you need.
Nice. So the name of the company is Golden Soul, SOL. So right, like the sun.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really relate to like I'm renting out dumpsters. People just be like the local one here in Pomona is 6P's dumpster, and it's because like the Pomona logo is literally like 6P's in a hexagon, and so it's like kind of cool like that. Which ironically, my logo is also a hexagon, but it's a sun. But the story for the name comes from an artist, a rapper. Well, he does a lot of things. Right now, he's working on, or he has a I don't know what the genre is called, but like I guess it's a documentary that's coming out on the Sundance Music Festival in like in about a week.
His name Kemba?
It's Kemba, yeah, dude.
Kemba, okay.
And so he has a song where one of the lyrics says, and I actually looked it up, and it's factually incorrect, but I'm not gonna I wasn't gonna say anything. Or obviously, but the lyric goes, "I'm built like the sun, I re-energize." And so at the time, it was right when I was going through a really dark time where I just I needed to I needed to build positivity, and I was like, all right, I feel that line, but from the technical point, the sun goes through a nuclear fusion reaction, and it doesn't re-energize in a sense. It
scientifically it isn't correct, but I dig it.
hey, a bar's a bar. You know
a bar is a bar, dude. And and so I was like, it just got me on the thought of of the sun, right? And so I was like, okay, I want my name, the business name, to revolve around the sun, especially being in Southern California.
Yeah.
We were very sunny, right? Sunny Southern California. And then the golden, I think it was actually coming, I was already dwelling on these thoughts of I had that in my mind, but it was from the outsiders, stay golden, pony boy. And so I was gotta stay golden. I want to be stay golden is the mentality, stay golden.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah, and so that, I held on to that, and I was like, that's such a great word to use, because and also in people's mental image, golden, the connotation for golden is I don't know how to describe it very well, but the reason behind the name Golden Soul was because eventually I want the business to grow into something that's it's a name brand thing, that it's a name brand company that if you want to develop a house, or you want a house or some kind of property or something done with construction, we got you covered. Any facet, different, that's what the different for the people, for you guys visually can see it. That's what each of these things is supposed to represent. It's just a different little they're all connected in a little honeycomb sense. But yeah, so I want to be able to do the plumbing, the irrigation, all the water, the groundwork, the electrical work. I want my company to cover all that. And so I wanted a household name, and I wanted one that has a positive mental image, right? So when people think of it, they're it makes me feel good. I want to go with Golden Soul as opposed to Burtech. I don't know. It's it's very minute thing.
Corporate-y, yeah.
It's very minute, but I was trying to be forward thinking. I'm okay, I want the best business name, the corporate, once I'm competing at that level, I will already be ready with all the branding and everything, because it's just a good name and a good logo, and it will be a household, kind of how McDonald's, everyone will recognize McDonald's or Apple. That's just what it is. You don't even have to put the name with it. It's just a logo, and and it's a household thing.
Nice.
Real quick, have you guys seen the movie The Founder? Have you guys seen that?
No.
No.
Oh, wait, was that the one with the brothers, the McDonald's story with the
the actual
with the Ray McRays or whatever?
No. So the actual McDonald brothers.
Yeah, we're Ray. Steve guy. The Steve guy is the guy the a-hole who took
yeah. And then there's Ray Kroc.
That's
Kroc
what I was trying to think.
The guy who swindled the company out of them, and it's just this whole thing. The whole movie, you're thinking he's the main character, but then it's like by the end of it, you're like, oh, this guy's the villain. We're watching this from the villain's point of view, like, you know.
Yeah.
But he even tells them, because they even asked, they're like, why did, like, we told you all of our company's secrets and how we go through things. They're like, why wouldn't you just want to start your own company instead of taking what we have? And Ray's answer, he's like, it's the name. He's like, it's the logo, it's the brand. He's like, the name McDonald's, he's like, that sounds like an all-American name. People know that, and they're going to hear that and be like, oh, yeah, McDonald's. And he's like, I can't name a company after my... He's like, my last name is Kroc. I don't know what country it is, but he's like, yeah. He's like, that's too harsh. No one's going to go to a place called Croc's. He's like, but McDonald's. He's like, that's why I wanted with you guys, like that household name and brand. He's like, I had to have that. And I was like...
That
damn.
Subconsciously might have been...
Yeah,
where my inspiration came from, because I had seen that movie and it was terrible. Like, it made me feel really bad, but what he said was making sense. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't go, like, logically, I wouldn't think that the McDonald's franchise would be successful if it didn't have the name McDonald's.
Right.
At the time, I was like, that just made so much sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, Golden Soul is like, I wanted, it's kind of. Not like hard to say, and I wanted it to flow a little bit better, but Golden Soul still kind of like it flows with each other. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not like there's like an what do they do? I think it's like the typing for like bathrooms or like, but it's called Zern. It's like a few blocks from my house, and I'm like Zern. I'm like such a like corporate type like. Harsh kind of name, but it's like Golden Soul. On the other hand, it's like, oh yeah, that sounds pleasant, you know. Like I'll walk into Golden Soul, you know,
see,
and be like, hey, who can help me out? You know, I'll be the fish and SpongeBob walking in, like with my hand up, like, hey, yeah, and it's like, who can help me? It's like, you know, I see you. All right.
Dang it. Yeah, there's something else I wanted to like tack on with that, but that's the reasoning for the name, and it's gonna bother me if I can't remember it.
Do you have a work email where people can contact you if they are in need of a roll-off dumpster? Just saying.
Of course, yes. So my work email would be Aaron. That's AARON at Golden GOLDENSOL.info. So Aaron at goldensoul.info. Also, what I wanted to so the website will be like eventually when it's up, it'll be goldensoul.info, unless things change, in which case I'll still have that domain for a while, and hopefully it'll redirect to the new one. Anyways, what I want to tack on was soul specifically. Like, I like the double entendre of obvious, right? The sun, soul in Spanish. And I like, I was like also like, hey, I'm a little happy, right? I speak English and Spanish.
Yeah.
So I like that pun that was going on Golden Soul, but also with the reasons behind the business, I was like, okay, I feel comfortable tacking on that name because it's a very like powerful name, I'll say, or like very like, like you got to stand on something if you are trying to have that name. And for me, it's like, all right, well, like, I started this business in order to help this organization. So like the positive connotation, like, it all just like, I want it all to like,
it all ties together.
Yeah, exactly. It all just like, it all perfectly worked together, through work. It's not like I'm just taking, it's like there's a military term, stolen valor, where somebody's wearing a uniform that they didn't earn, or like the medals out in public so that they get all the salutes from people, but they didn't actually like go do anything. And so I don't want to have that same scenario happen to me. Like, I'm actually like, I still like volunteer and stuff. It did taper off a lot when I was starting the business and going through some tough times. But I have like picked it up again, and like, I don't want to just be like, hey, like my business, I want to associate with like this good name of like Water Drop. It's like, no, I'm actually like, I'm here to service them more, like without anything in return. That's how I'm standing on business.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Standing on business.
So that's the email. That's the name. Aaron, thank you so much for doing this. I assume this won't be the last time, or at least
I
that's my
would
heart's desire.
I
That's
would
not the
love to.
last time.
I would love to be back on. This is awesome. Thank you
Uh,
both for having me.
Of course.
German Escamilla. I was gonna say David. That's why I kind of paused. I was like, German. Thank you very much for hosting. Thank you for the questions.
It's about time we had you on, bro.
It was about time.
I
Man.
was
You didn't know for
I
a
kept
moment.
I kept texting David. I'm like, dude, Aaron, when can we
Like,
get
does he
Aaron?
do football? Does he do? I was like, maybe college football. I don't
And then
know.
he wouldn't say anything. I'm like, dude, like we can talk about whatever, bro. Like, Aaron, can we get Aaron?
And then that's when I was like, oh, dude, he's got his business. Like, we should have him on to talk about his business. But
And I was like, done. Let's do it.
since he met you at my sister's party, he's like, I like Aaron. And then later on, he's like, we should have him on the pod. I'm like, we should, yeah. Like,
Yeah. So
Thank you, man. I appreciate that so much. I love being in your company too, man. At the graduation party, it was like, just having like that, like,
yeah,
it's like
it was-
spirited talk. It's like, all right, like I know, we are the same people. It's
Yeah.
like I feel you. So
yeah, which was it doesn't happen very often as an adult where you like meet somebody and you
Yeah,
connect with them. And you're like, dude, that was actually super easy and super pleasant and so yeah, it was as soon as I left that day because it was David's sister's graduation party. I was like, oh my god! I remember telling my wife, I'm like, that guy would be awesome on the podcast. That guy would be like I need to get him on the podcast. I need to become friends with him just outside of that. Like that guy, that guy was awesome. And so I don't know. I felt like David was like gatekeeping or something. And like text him like, dude, and he just wouldn't reply. And I was like, okay.
My cheeks are hurting from smiling. Man, thank you. My cheeks are hurting from smiling right now. And the back of my head for some reason is like the biggest smile I've ever had in a while. Oh man!
I didn't know you were this concerned, bro.
Dude,
I was like,
man,
because in my mind, I was trying to figure out how to get him on because like he asked about football, and then I asked Aaron, and he's like, "Oh, I haven't watched a ton. Like the Vikings aren't doing well. USC didn't do well.
My fantasy team sucked. Dude, I was in contention for Sacco this year. I got 11th place, thankfully. Dude, if I had lost, I would have had to eat the same in a week. In a week, I would have had to eat the same amount of hot dogs that Joey Chestnut eats this upcoming 4th of July. But I would have taken that challenge full steam. I would have eaten half one day, half the next day. I would have done 35-35, man.
Oh man. Yeah, so it was I was like, dude, like, do you not know what we talk about anything, bro? Like, it doesn't. Yeah, I was just throwing topics. I was like, I mean, football, maybe,
right? Because okay, Jerome was hyped because like when Gamboa, yourself, and I and Jerome were talking about football and like talking about Brady, for example. When we were fired up, Jerome was like, "Dude, I missed that. I missed like that was.
I haven't had
that we were also heated but still friends. Like, just, you know, how,
you have to bring up Brady. Here, that's a perfect example.
Like, sports, like, so it was like, but we're still homies. So we gotta find something else, or like, you know. Or maybe in the future we can like catch like a USC game, or like go to a USC game,
and then talk about it. Talk about
exactly.
there's a lot of like sports politics around that too. So like that'd be a good like a lot of topics to touch on too.
Yeah. So it's just plus to be able to. David has like this. He hates to see me happy with the 49ers. So
yes,
I was like, if I can just crush him and just partner up with someone, just crush the Pats. I'd like to do that for like 2 hours.
It would normally be me. I would be a perfect like wingman for you in that topic, but your 49ers have hurt me too, man. So I don't know how I feel about that.
You see? Yeah,
dude,
good.
It was 2018. I think it was 2018 where you guys knocked us out of the playoffs. I went to this restaurant in Pico or Santa Fe Springs called Geezer's.
2019, yeah.
2019, yeah. Dude, we were at Geezer's at this restaurant with it was like an open area seating, a bunch of fans there, right? Ton of 49ers. I was the only Vikings fan, of course. Ton of 49ers fans, just a bunch, and just sitting there getting like clowned from every direction. I'm like, dude, I don't even know you people. Leave me alone. I already have the people at my table making fun of me. What's going on? Like that. Yeah. So I had like, ouch. Whenever I think of the 49ers, ouch. And you know what? Now we're on the Saints too, man. I hate the Saints. I'll never forget that.
He does hate the Saints because of like
The bounty gate, dude.
the target. Yeah, the bounty.
2009,
So
man. I'll never let that go. 15
dude,
years
what was
ago,
it?
never
Was
let
it
that go.
the Minneapolis Miracle?
Oh, dude, that was beautiful. That was
Dude, we called each
2017.
other after it happened. But
Dude.
we were both watching the game, and I was
Dude,
like, dude,
oh my God, I screamed. I was like, I remember, I think someone had me on video like this, and then I was like, and then I sat up and I like threw my charger at the wall and like exploded into a million pieces. It was cool.
Yeah.
all right.
Minneapolis Miracle.
Dang. All right. Jordan thought I was gatekeeping. All right. I got to be more in tune and aware of these situations. Like,
Come on, man.
Yeah.
like,
I mean, after the
Tap
third
in.
text, you have to be like, okay, this guy really wants him on. So,
Oh my God.
dude,
Oh my
oh
goodness.
my gosh. That's funny.
but I'm glad we finally did it.
Me too.
And I'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
And David, I'll be seeing you probably next week, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
Real quick.
Yeah.
Just before,
Yep.
after he stops recording, Hank for Biggs, I gotta
got
talk.
you.
Just,
Yeah.
So something quick. But
Yeah. So, and you got to pay for that. If you want to listen to that post conversation, you got to pay for that.
no, are we starting a like
Extra
arrows
subscription required.
like arrows up behind the scenes, like OnlyFans? Like, or is that
Imagine
too much?
like-
Like,
It's not OnlyFans, like the
Like
in the making,
Patreon,
like
Patreon.
Patreon.
It's like the
Patreon.
Disney behind the scenes, like in the
Yeah,
making
yeah.
behind the
of,
scenes special.
like yeah, like the
OnlyFans.
making of the
You
Mandalorian.
give people the wrong idea.
Yeah, man, now I gotta get some extras. I gotta like look good for this.
Yeah, man.
dude. Oh my god,
Pay for the video.
that's fun.
So yeah, this was fun. I'll talk to you guys soon, and I can't express again how much fun this was. So I'll talk to you guys. I'll talk to you guys later.
I enjoyed it very much, German. Thank you very much, Escamilla. I'll talk to you both.
course.
Have a great day, y'all.
That was the podcast. Thank you to David. Thank you to Aaron. Thank you to Angel for the music. And thank you to you for listening. You can listen to the Arrows Up podcast anywhere you get your pods. You can follow us on Arrows Up Instagram. And please rate, review, subscribe. I'll have another pod for you on Friday where I'll do some NBA, some soccer, and whatever loose ends. By the time you hear this, Nick Saban has retired. Pete Carroll has been fired. Crazy, crazy stuff. So I'll do all of that Friday's pod. Thank you for listening. Arrows Up Podcast. I'll talk to you later. Go Niners.